Good morning, sir. Is this the Gypsy?
Yes.
Hey, it's Taylor. I called you yesterday about an interview.
Yeah, how are you, man?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Good.
So tell me about this idea of yours.
Okay, so I got my first Canis Panther from Lori, and I've just been in love with the breed ever since. And I want to make a documentary.
How's that dog doing?
Well, she passed away. I had another Canis Panther from somebody who got a dog from you. He's doing well, but Ripley passed away.
How old was she?
2.5, 3.
And what was the reason for her passing away?
I can't tell you for sure, but at the time I was inexperienced. I had wire crates, and I've got Dogo Argentinos. Are you familiar with them?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I had wire crates, and I had her and I had them, and I put them in the room together, but they were in the crates. They were separate. I came home. They had gotten other crates, and they were fighting each other, and they had also knocked over my bookshelves and stuff. So I think a bookshelf landed on her, but I can't say for sure because she died that night.
I'm so sorry.
It is what it is. You live and you learn, right?
Yeah. Or you learn first, then you live.
Yeah, I should have done that.
Yeah.
No, yeah, she was a great dog, man. She was probably the best dog I've ever had, honestly, and she died too soon, so.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it wasn't your fault. Unless it was,
No.
then, if you visited my house and did that, which you didn't. I'm just joking.
Okay.
Yeah, so what I wanted to do is make a documentary about the breed and do a full history starting from Scorpio, going through you, coming up to the modern era and the people that are involved in the breed now, and get your thoughts, your input, any opinions you have, any facts, any history that you're familiar with, if you are okay going on record with that.
Well, I've gone on record with it several times. I don't see any reason why not to.
Okay.
I just want to know what the purpose of it is. What is the purpose?
I just want to do it. I've always wanted to do this, but I'm with the Canis Panther Club of America. You might be familiar with one of my associates, JD. From what I understand, he's pushed your buttons quite a bit. I don't intend to be as...
He got his dogs from me. He got his first dogs from me.
Yeah, Poncho. I remember that. But
I thought JD got 2 dogs from me.
What was the other one?
I don't know. I'll have to ask my wife.
Okay. If it's any consolation to you, he and I don't really get along, so we're just trying to make this work for the dogs. But yeah. So there was that, and then Documentary TV. They did an interview with you, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
They also did an interview with Run 'em Up Kennels, and she says that she has Canis Panthers, but she does not. They're not even close. They're just a Doberman mix. So the club was favorable to my idea of doing a documentary because we wanted to have something to counter what she's putting out there as far as information, and help set the record straight about what a Canis Panther is, where it comes from, what it is, and how it's not really associated with her.
So okay, I'm open to all this, but I want to know, when did the record get bent? How? What do you mean, set the record straight? The record has been documented.
Right, and I completely agree with you.
So how did it get bent?
It depends on who you ask. Some people will say that Run 'em Up has Canis Panthers, because that's what she says, and if they've never heard of it, and they hear about her before they hear about you, then
but how does that bend? See, here's my issue.
Okay.
Here's my issue. If my wife and Rock of Ages Kennel, along with Scorpio and Lucas Lopez, are the first to breed or create the Canis Panther, the first to register the Canis Panther, the first to show the Canis Panther, the first to train the Canis Panther. That's the record. When and how did it get bent? And who had the power to bend it. I'm not understanding that part.
Right, and that's a fair question. I go by your record.
These other people have not trained anything.
Right.
They have not created anything. They have not legitimized or registered anything. They have not shown anything. How did they get the gravity, the strength to bend the record?
Really, they didn't. But, you know.
Well, then why do we need to straighten it out?
Because some people, thousands and thousands of people, have seen that documentary coming from her saying that she has Canis Panthers, and then they don't know anything about y'all.
Does she say that she created the Canis Panther?
No, but she breeds.
Does she say that she has trained Canis Panthers?
Yes.
Does she say she has shown Canis Panthers?
Yes, I believe so.
And does she say she has pedigrees of Canis Panthers?
Yes, she does. And her dogs are just Doberman French Mastiff mixes, but she calls them Canis Panthers.
Then that's not a Canis Panther.
Exactly.
If you breed anything outside of the original genome of Canis Panther, it is not a Canis Panther. When did somebody, you, JD, this person, believe, because you can't do that with any other breed.
Right.
None. Zero. There is no precedent for taking a German Shepherd and breeding it to a Mastiff and calling it a German Shepherd.
Right.
It's unheard of. So who legitimized that?
Documentary TV, I would say, because they to this day still have that video published.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, this sounds like an exercise in futility. Okay, because there is real, there is documented, there is historic, and then there is imagined.
Right. And
has she admitted that she bred something else into the Canis Panther?
Yep. If you want, I can send you a link to her video. And she didn't even say she bred something else.
That would be to me.
Okay.
Because if she has admitted that, then she has delegitimized herself. Anyone any person who is in the dog world will know that if you take a German Shepherd and breed it to a Mastiff, it is no longer a German Shepherd.
Right.
Anyone.
Yep.
So how is it? Do you understand?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
To even discuss that helps them to establish some legitimacy.
Right. And, I mean, we get people semi-frequently who come to us and they're like, yeah, I have a Canis Panther. And we're like, well, where'd you get it from? And I run them up.
Did you breed your Dogos to Canis Panthers?
I did once. It was an accident litter.
And did you call it a Canis Panther?
No, sir. Never.
Okay. Then you're able to refute her claim. You are.
Yes, sir.
JD is. Did JD support her?
No.
Then why is it that, then how did it, see, I'm still not seeing where it got bent.
So it's not between us, it's people who just exist in the world and they see an ad for a Canis Panther and it's coming from her, so they go to her, they get a puppy, then they come to us, find out there's a bigger Canis Panther community, and they say, oh, hey, look, I got a Canis Panther too. And then...
But you know, that Canis Panther community that you're talking about tried to delegitimize me.
Do you know why that is?
Tell me.
Oh, I don't know. I'm asking you.
Well, I could tell you what I think.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I think that there are some people who see a prize, and it is in the hand of other people who they do not like, and they try to delegitimize those people.
That's fair.
And take it over. Now, it could be racial. It could be socioeconomic. And I can't think outside of those lines. You know, rich people have often invaded poorer people and taken over their history and changed it.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no idea how it is that you and JD, see, this is the first time I've ever talked to you.
Right.
And I don't understand how that is possible. Because anyone that was exposed to the Canis Panther, JD, yourself, saw me.
Right.
That's how you became aware of the Canis Panther. Period. You saw me.
Right.
And my dog being trained,
Mm-hmm.
demonstrating, and said, wow, what a dog. Look at what they are and what they can do. And it was from Rock of Ages Kennel. It was in Gypsy's hand. So how did you and JD and whoever else eliminate me from Canis Panther history? How is that possible?
I don't think you've been eliminated, at least not from my perspective.
Of course I haven't.
Okay.
You cannot eliminate originality.
I see what you're saying now.
So how is that possible? How come you guys didn't fight her in the beginning?
Oh, we have.
How come? See, I get a chance to monitor JD's group because there are people in your group who report back to me.
Good.
How is it that you guys, you who came to get your dog, the best dog you ever had, from me,
Mm-hmm.
how is it that you at any point sided with JD and didn't say, hey, JD, oh, wait a minute, how come you're not saying Gypsy? How did that happen?
I'm not sure what you mean. Because,
at some point, you were allied with JD. At some point, before you guys had a problem.
Correct.
You guys were together.
Right.
And you saw, because you were part of that group, that Gypsy is not part of this forum. How is that possible? You didn't say that to JD? Hey, JD, how is it possible that Gypsy, Rock of Ages Kennel, Lori, are not part of this discussion? You never said that to him? Although you came and got the best dog you ever had from me?
That is correct. And the reason is because I assumed you were not interested in...
Whether I was interested or not, truth is truth. See, we're not Rudy Giuliani, where truth isn't truth.
Right.
You know truth is truth.
Yes.
So when you noted, since you didn't come from South America and didn't know anything about me.
Right.
You knew about me. You came and got the best dog you ever had from me.
Mm-hmm.
And you were in a group of people who never mentioned my name, publicly anyway, probably said many things. That's what the documentary needs to be about, brother.
Okay.
How did these people try to erase Gypsy from Canis Panther history, from Canis Panther prominence?
Right.
When all of you, JD, you, whoever else, when you first got aware of the Canis Panther and were blown out, like, oh my God, what a dog. All of you had that knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, you had to recognize that Gypsy was not being mentioned publicly. So I think your documentary, this is just an idea.
Okay.
And I'm willing to participate. The documentary, I would say, should be about who was it that tried to delegitimize Gypsy, take over this breed, and determine its future, and erase its past. thinking that you're an intelligent person, the thought had to come to your head. Hey, how come Gypsy ain't in this conversation? That's publicly. Now here's the real goal. What were the private conversations? The political conversations to eliminate Gypsy, the last living founder of this breed, the person who brought this breed to prominence, the person who the first time we saw one was in his hand. You had to be in those conversations.
I was.
Even if you were not perpetuating the conversation, you had to have heard them.
I did.
Pardon?
I said I did. What would you like to know?
Well, there's your history. There is your documentary of value. I can give you the byline. Hey, people, let me tell you how these people unscrupulously tried to eliminate the last living founder. Not a guy who just walked in from the ground floor, working with both Scorpio and Luke. How is it? Those conversations, that's what your documentary would have great value.
To be fair,
you uncovering the conspiracy to take over the breed and eliminate from history the last living founder and the most professional dog person. Those conversations have to be amazing. That's where I think there's value. And especially since you and JD are not in bed anymore, and you were privy to the conspiracy, because that's what it was, a conspiracy. And you know that. That's the documentary I'm interested in. And I will help you.
Okay.
Yeah, but to just counterpoint someone who obviously doesn't have Canis Panther, to just counterpoint them puts them equal with me in the eyes of whoever doesn't know something. So I think what needs to happen is that the public, all these people you're talking about that don't know, need to know that.
Okay.
Here's how it happened. I was there. I heard these conversations, and God forgive me, I was part of these conversations. And I have seen the light. I've seen the error of our way. I've seen the injustice that was done to Gypsy, Lori, and Rock of Ages Kennel. That is interesting. That is valuable to expose these frauds. How this fraudulent conspiracy came to be.
I can do that for you.
I wasn't there. I was not allowed to be there. You were.
Right. And you know, I would love to include you in the conversation as things develop. How would you, let me get your thoughts on this. How do you feel that there's a Canis Panther Club of America? With or without you, how do you feel about the club by itself?
I have not. Well, here's the knowledge I have, because I try not to make things up. The knowledge I have is here's the knowledge that I have, because I have not been part of your forum, that at some point someone decided they wanted to do sport, which I have never been an advocate of, because the Canis Panther is a defensive dog, not a sport dog.
Okay.
It is a pet protector. And somebody didn't like that label. And so they decided to change the label and also change the history. And then they decided to devalue the dogs with all these health tests.
Why do you think that health tests devalue the dogs?
Because did they have a health test before they came and got it? Did you have a health test on your dog before you came and got it and before you determined it was the best dog you ever had?
No, sir.
Then why was it necessary? Tell me that.
For me, because there's a lot of Dobermans with health issues. There's DCM. I'm sure you're aware of that, where a Doberman can drop dead at 6 years old, and it's tragic. So I wanted to look into the genetics.
There are a lot of dogs that can drop dead at 6 years old.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of breeds, a lot of dogs.
I agree with that.
Nobody said, we're going to take this dog, the name of it, we're going to erase the history, and now we're going to devalue that animal. Because, Steve, let me tell you something. That was a tactic. And once that tactic didn't have a real strategy, the aim of that tactic was to say that Gypsy has unhealthy dogs, even though they got their dogs from me.
Right.
But they wanted to put some funk, some stink on my name and on Rock of Ages Kennel Canis Panther. Because all of you who have Canis Panthers have a Rock of Ages Kennel Canis Panther.
Mm-hmm.
All of you who have mixed something else into your Canis Panther have a Rock of Ages Canis Panther background.
Right.
So that was a terrible mistake from the beginning. That's cutting off your nose to spite your face. But I didn't fight that because I know what I got.
Mm-hmm.
I know what you got when you came and got it from me.
Right.
So that's the greatest documentary of all. Here is the conspiracy to steal the history of the Canis Panther. And you were there.
Yes.
Now, if you're not afraid of JD, then and if you're interested in truth and justice, that will be the goal, the substance, the value of your documentary.
Okay.
And I will participate.
Okay.
Now, I haven't done. If you've noticed, when you saw the documentary that I did, that I was asked to do, I didn't mention JD because he's inconsequential as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
He is what I call a carpetbagger.
Oh.
Yes. Oh.
I certainly appreciate your forthrightness. Would you consider me a carpetbagger?
I think you were influenced by a carpetbagger, and at one point you were supporting the carpetbagger movement.
Right.
When something happened,
Mm-hmm.
you saw the illegitimacy of the carpetbaggers, and maybe at that point you decided to separate yourself from them. And because you're an intelligent person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now,
Because JD there has been no reason for people to gravitate to JD. None.
right.
And if there is, tell me.
You kind of stumped me. I guess there's one thing. So first of all, just full disclosure, I am still in that club, but JD and I are the only people
And
that
I'll remind you, there are people in that club who report to me. Go ahead.
And that's fine. I'm totally fine. In fact, I prefer that. But JD and I, we butt heads. So, that's...
But how did he convince you to never mention Gypsy, to never mention Rock of Ages Kennel or Lori?
To be fair...
How did he convince you of that?
You were mentioned quite a bit in private conversations.
But never positively, always negatively.
Mostly negatively. I think there was definitely some positivity.
And what was the basis of that negativity? What crime had I committed?
I wouldn't say you've committed a crime, but there was criticism about, one, you didn't health test, and two, the videos of you working dogs.
Why did you come buy a dog from me? Why did JD come buy a dog from me? Why have all these other people come and bought dogs from me that they are now putting other dogs into? If that was the criteria.
Right.
Because, see, I have a test. It's the eye test. It's the longevity test. I tested the original dogs that went into making the Canis Panther because I am a trainer.
Mm-hmm.
I was Scorp's trainer. I was Lucas Lopez's trainer. I didn't do this outside of them. It was me who decided this one is not good, Scorp. This one doesn't have the brain, Scorp. This one doesn't have the physical ability, Scorp. Scorp said to me, okay. When it came to naming the breed, it was Gypsy who named the breed. When it came to registering the breed, it was Gypsy and Laura who registered the breed. All right. So, where did I go wrong?
It was
those conversations about. In those conversations, it was never saying, hey, you know what, this guy, Gypsy, he's a hell of a trainer.
Right.
And he proved this breed enough that made us want to go get it. Because they didn't just see pictures of this dog. They seen this dog in action.
Right.
Because I remember telling Scorp, we got to show this dog working. And it was my wife's camera and my work and our dog that did that, presented it, and you guys came and got it. So at what point in what conversation? Because the health test was not important when you came to get it. When it came to that's the best dog I've ever had, health test, see, the problem was here, I'm going to give you a little history. When I met JD, his conversation to me was, my God, you've done excellent work here. I'd like to be your broker. I'd like to be the person who sells your dogs. He wanted to be the middleman. And I didn't need a middleman.
Right.
And since I didn't need a middleman, he decided to eliminate me.
Oh.
And so his scheme to do that was to bring up the health test. Yeah. That had no bearing on anything. Not at all.
Okay.
So how did he convince you to eliminate the master dog trainer, the originator of the breed?
I never wanted to eliminate you.
But how did he convince you to go along with it?
I didn't think I was going along with anything, to be honest, because we did talk about you in private, and I'm not that active on the public discussion.
Well, that's what you need to expose.
Okay.
Those private conversations. You are uniquely qualified and intelligent enough to do so. I'm not calling you a dummy. I've told 4 times. I've told you were intelligent.
I appreciate that.
I just don't do that. I don't just do that. I don't do anything just to make people feel good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm real and I'm true all the time.
Now let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
How would you feel about being included in the current Canis Panther Club of America? How would you feel about that?
First, I would like to know why I wasn't. Then I could make a decision on why I would be. See, once you throw shit on a man's name, you can't just come wash the shit off because it still stinks.
Right.
It has to be clean. Yes.
Okay.
What was done needs to be reversed. So I would like to participate in the documentary on how this man, JD, convinced you guys to eliminate me. So you say you have heard the private conversations, and most of them were not positive.
Correct.
Then those conversations need to be illuminated.
Right.
The people, all these people who don't know anything, need to know that.
Okay. And I can definitely include that in the documentary. I wanted to do kind of a full, no holds barred, everybody's opinion, everybody's perspective gets shown.
But see, you did not, when you say no holds barred, you were barring holds. Because you didn't come to me with the idea of, hey, Gypsy, I'm really sorry about how this has gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to set the record straight by exposing the subterfuge, the lies, the conspiracies that were created, and how you were eliminated. I'd like to expose that, Gypsy. You didn't come to me with that idea. You came to me with an idea about some woman, a Chaos Kennel, who don't have Canis Panthers.
Right.
Yeah,
but
you know that.
To be fair, that wasn't my only goal. I want to make a full historical documentary. I want all of your opinions.
Then the full historical documentary needs to be about this attempted coup, because that's what it is.
I'll include that for sure.
No, it needs to be the focus, because what else is of value? See, everything that we do, say, and think will either create value or destroy value. And you and JD, and I'm not saying you did it maliciously, you may have been misled. You and JD and a few others have tried to diminish, devalue, and destroy value of my name, my participation, my legitimacy in the Canis Panther breed. There's no getting around that. I'll forgive you for that. I'll forgive JD for it. But some truth has to be uncovered.
Okay.
There's a guy from Texas. What was his name?
Chris Tucker?
That's him.
How do you feel about Chris Tucker?
What's he got to do with the Canis Panther? He was prevalent in your group.
Oh, yeah, he's big trouble, for sure.
So why and how? Because he ain't bred nothing. He ain't trained nothing. He hasn't produced anything. So how? I'll tell you how. Because he wanted to shit on my name. And JD saw that was valuable to him because that was his goal.
Right.
And so he appointed Chris Tucker over you guys. No one asked Chris Tucker, Chris, when did you breed a Canis Panther? Chris, when did you train a Canis Panther? Chris, what do you got to do with the Canis Panther? No one asked him that.
Right.
You guys all just took his word for it. And what words did he have? None.
Yep.
He couldn't tell you that I wasn't with Score, that I wasn't with Lucas Lopez. He couldn't tell you that. He couldn't tell you I wasn't a great trainer. He could not tell you that. So what did he tell you that made you, and others go along with this coup?
I actually never talked to Chris Tucker personally, but I have heard that he stole dogs from Tim Jones. I believe he stole dogs from you, and he's also stolen dogs from Mr. Donovan.
Donovan don't have no Canis Panthers.
Well, right, but he's stolen Donovan pinchers from Mr. Donovan.
Did you say stole, like in stealing? Absconded with?
As in there was some sort of agreement?
He never had any of my dogs. Never.
Okay.
I never had any agreement with him. Ever.
Okay.
Ever.
My understanding, at least for Tim Jones, was that Tim Jones gave him dogs, and he was supposed to give him dogs back eventually, and then he just started ignoring Tim.
It didn't happen because both of them were unscrupulous.
Right.
And both of them weren't standing on anything but rhetoric. See, I don't stand on rhetoric. I stand on work. And because of my work, you were able to get the greatest dog you ever had.
Yes.
Because of my work, JD saw a financial benefit, because that's our first conversation. And the young man that's with Abby, I forget his name, came with JD. And no one ever asked him. He heard the conversation of JD wanting to be the middleman. Let me be the one who is the broker, Gypsy. You just breed them, and let me be the one who is the broker, a middleman. And I didn't need a middleman. I told JD, well, JD, we can see about that. But he decided he didn't want to be the middleman. He wanted to be the man. So to be the man, he had to eliminate me.
Right.
And he asked Chris Tucker to help him do that. Chris Tucker hasn't produced anything.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't trained anything. He hasn't bred anything. Tim Jones, where's his Canis Panthers? Never happened. Chris Tucker did not come back from Chicago with any Canis Panthers. None.
Do you know that Tim Jones does have dogs, and he claims that they are Canis Panthers?
Man, a lot of people got dogs. And I don't care what he claims. Where are they? Has anybody seen them? Has anybody trained them? Has anybody seen that they can run across the field without hopping? Did anybody go say, Tim Jones, we got to test your dog? We got to health test your dog? No.
I did. To be fair, I did.
And what did you find? They weren't even Canis Panthers, didn't you?
Funny you should say that. So let me give you all the information that I have. We did not find any health issues, though to be fair, out of your dogs, there were not that many health issues. So
that's right.
For him, we didn't find any health issues, but
when you did the genetic test, you found out they weren't even Canis Panthers. That's what you found out.
It's a weird one. So his current male, his name is Diablo. He looks like a Canis Panther, but he tested as a pure Great Dane.
He looked like a Canis Panther, but
yes, sir. But he tests as a pure Great Dane.
Okay, brother. I didn't need you to tell me that, but I posed the question so you could say it out loud.
Right.
Yeah. But did that go into the group? Was that broadcast? Did anybody say, hey, JD, wait a minute?
In private, it was.
These ain't even Canis Panthers.
In private, it was. We don't really... Well, I don't personally have an issue with Tim Jones, but getting a puppy was a little chaotic with him.
But you didn't have an issue with me. You got the greatest dog you ever had from me.
Right.
JD saw mountains of gold that he saw here. And there was no mention of me. None. See, I'm a patient man.
Well, I appreciate that.
I just wait for things to play out because I know who I am. I know what I've done.
Right.
And I also know what these people have not done. Tim Jones ain't never trained a dog.
Why do you say that?
Where's the proof of it?
Well, you got a good point there.
Okay.
He sent me a few little videos, nothing on his new phone, but they're all real grainy and stuff. But his dogs
they weren't his. They were. If he sent you something that was that dated, they were not his.
Well, so
nothing he produced. No.
He told me he still had a flip phone up until just a couple months ago.
Come on, man. Come on.
Well, he said he's not very tech savvy. He's not even on
Facebook. You
Facebook.
guys were willing to take his word for it without any evidence whatsoever, but eliminate me when I am the person that brought the Canis Panther to all of you guys' attention?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean...
There had to be a motive for that.
Why
did you take no evidence over real evidence?
Yeah. I mean, we got dogs from you and Tim without either of you having done health testing. We ended up donating...
I've done my health testing.
Right.
That's right. Tim Jones dogs can't even run across the field.
What would you say if you saw proof that they could?
If I did what?
What would you say if you saw proof that they could?
Listen. Show me the dog doing it, and then show me that it's a Canis Panther. That's what I would say. Because you just told me once that you did test the dog genetically, you found out it was not a Canis Panther at all.
Right.
So if I see a Great Dane able to run across the field, that's a Great Dane. He can run across the field. That's not a Canis Panther running across the field.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Jones has nothing of that. And I don't care about Tim Jones. Me and Tim Jones have had conversations.
I heard that you guys don't get along. Why is that?
I don't, because I'm a dog trainer. My wife is a breeder. I get along with other dog trainers and other breeders. I do not get along with people who just have volume and words. Words in this dog world don't mean anything. Work is what means something in the dog world. Mm-hmm. It also means something in the horse world. It also means, it means something. Work means something, not words. Anybody can come up with words. So whoever works is who I respect.
Okay.
Whoever can prove is what I respect. Words don't mean anything because, again, everything that we think, say, and do will either create value or destroy value. And when I hear words and all I hear is destroying a value, then that's where I leave.
Mm-hmm.
Prove it. Show me. Train something. Breed something.
Do you believe?
Then I'll believe it.
Right.
But the people that we've mentioned, Tim, JD, Chris Tucker, have done nothing but words. That's it. That cannot be disputed. Haven't done a thing. And when they found out they could not do it, they changed the criteria. Oh, well, those dogs are too big. Let's make them smaller. They said make them smaller because what they were getting was smaller.
Right.
It wasn't because we wanted to make them smaller. It was because that's all we got. So let's change the criteria. Let's change the profile of the animal altogether. Now, you think that's legitimate?
No.
No, you don't, because you're an intelligent man.
Right.
But you sat there and you listened to these conversations. And being an intelligent man, you did not say, hey, JD, you ain't did shit. Chris Tucker, you haven't done nothing. Tim, what have you done? One thing Tim has done is has his mother named him Tim, with Jones behind it. Because Tim didn't train no dogs. See, I remember Tim when he was a kid. A child. I didn't just show up, brother. I was there.
Right.
He wasn't no dog trainer. He wasn't no breeder. I remember his Scorpio funeral. Tim stood up there on the stage and said, I am the new Scorpio. And I gasped. I'm like, what? Because his brother was a great man. And a great dog man. And I used to see Scorpio beg his brother, Tim, I need some help. Come over here and help me. And Tim's like, I'm not doing no work.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
And so your opinion of Scorpio is quite high.
Huh?
So your opinion of Scorpio is quite high because he was working.
Man, Scorpio is the king of men.
Okay.
The king. You've heard me. If you've heard any documentaries, my first words are Scorpio deserves credit. If you've listened to me, or if you've read anything that I've written, then you know that already.
Right.
That's right.
Okay. No, this is great. I really appreciate this.
So I would like to see a documentary about these conversations, the private ones. What was the justification for slandering Gypsy? For trying to steal his work? For tarnishing, trying to, because he couldn't do it, trying to tarnish my name.
Now let me ask you this.
you have the material for your documentary already, brother. If you're going to be true about it and real about it, you already have that.
Right.
Yeah.
I think you'll be seeing a lot of that material in this documentary.
Okay.
Now let me ask you this. How would you feel if it was possible? How would you feel about... How would you feel about working with Tim to get bigger, to push JD out?
JD is out. JD is just word.
That's true, but so what I've noticed with him is that, so he doesn't own any dogs currently, as far as I'm aware. Did you know that he rehomed Poncho?
How does he have any standing?
Did you know that he rehomed Poncho?
Yeah, I keep up with Poncho.
Is Poncho doing okay?
Yeah, as far as I know.
Okay.
He's a great dog. Poncho was one of my favorites when he was here, him and his brother Cisco.
Okay. So, JD rehomed Poncho, and then he got a female. He bred the female once, and then he rehomed the female. He's said various things like, he doesn't want to breed them, or the female had temperament issues, or she wasn't proven, whatever. As far as I know, he doesn't currently have any dogs, but what he's doing is he's like trying to be the middleman between everybody, and so he's
I just told you that.
Yeah.
That's when I met him, that's what he tried to be.
Well, it's just so interesting to me because it's like that's what I've observed, and now you're telling me that completely separate, in a completely separate scenario, different world. He was doing that with you, and you're not the first person to tell me that's what he's doing. And then I've kind of reached that conclusion on my own. So now there's 3 different people at least that have noticed that.
Yep.
Okay.
So your documentary sounds like it has a title of JD the Usurper.
Well, to be fair, I do want to make the focus the dogs. That's what I want the focus to be.
He doesn't focus on the dog.
No, he doesn't.
Got no dog.
Right.
So what is he standing on, brother? If he ain't got no dog, he hasn't trained any dog. What's he standing on?
I'm not entirely sure, and that's a really good point.
But he's the head of some movement, and nobody can tell me what he's standing on.
Right.
That sounds like a very interesting documentary.
It really does.
Yes, it does.
And I mean, there's a lot of history here going from Scorpio up to this exact call. And there's the history between me and JD.
I spent every day of my life with Scorpio.
How did you guys meet?
We met in Earl Jones's dog school. I was apprentice under Earl Jones when Scorpio walked into his school with Airy, German Shepherd.
Okay.
That's how I met him.
Give me just a moment. Hey, come here. Go to bed. Go to bed. Go. Go to bed. Sorry about that. I've got my dogs out there playing. Well, you know what? Give me just another minute. I'm going to put her in a crate. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Go to bed. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that.
So you asked me a question. When did I meet Scorpio? Did you ask JD the same question?
I did not.
Okay. And I can tell you when.
Never.
Never had one conversation with him.
Right.
That's right.
So you dislike JD because he has tried to usurp you.
JD. I don't give JD that much power.
Okay.
Where I dislike him. I don't recognize him for anything other than a usurper and a carpetbagger.
Okay.
I recognize that he has done no work, trained no dog, hasn't bred anything that he even wants. Anything that he's bred, he don't even want it.
Right.
Hold on. Somebody just drove in my driveway. Hold on.
Okay.
Joe Kidd! You turned in. Brother, this is Joe Kidd, master dog trainer, world renowned, just pulled into my driveway. I got to talk to him.
Okay.
You can call me back, though.
Okay. Do you want to call me when you're ready?
No, you can call me back. I'm usually sitting there in the morning, having me a Newport, or in the evening, sitting there with my wife.
Okay. So is tomorrow morning better for you?
Sure.
Okay, perfect.
But hopefully tomorrow you will have a different idea of what you want this documentary to be about, if you want my participation.
It's definitely going to be about that. You're gonna see that.
Joe, standing here now. I gotta go.
Okay.
I can't let this great man stand here while I'm on the phone.
Okay. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, buddy. And hey,
yes,
by
sir.
the way, Joe Kidd knew Scorpio. Yeah.
Would he like to be interviewed?
Maybe. You want to be in this documentary, Joe, about the Canis Panther? These are the people who tried to eliminate me from the history of the Canis Panther, by the way. Yeah. Yeah, Joe Kidd might be interested because he knew Scorpio many, many years.
Okay.
That's right. He said he had one. That's right. He had a puppy out of Mighty Joe and Misty. Can't get too much further back. Did JD have a puppy out of Mighty Joe and Misty? Did he ever even see Mighty Joe and Misty?
No.
Is the answer. Did Chris Tucker have any of those dogs? No. As a matter of fact. Okay, I gotta go. Joe Kidd standing here.
Okay, I'll talk to you later. All right, bye.
Hello.
Hey, Gypsy, it's Taylor. We spoke on the phone yesterday.
Yes.
Are you available to continue our interview?
When you call, you should always tell me who you are, so I can remember your name.
My name is Taylor.
Okay, Taylor. Now, my wife asked me, did you ask Taylor if he's recording this conversation? And I told her no. So I'll ask you now, did you record us yesterday?
I did, and I can delete that if you want. And I'm.
Wait a minute, Taylor.
Well, I did bring it up in the beginning.
Taylor, no. You did never even indicate that you were actively recording our conversation.
I apologize for that.
Wait a minute, Taylor. How could you not? Why would you record it? Let's start there.
Well, because I was interviewing you for the documentary, and so...
calling me to ask me if I would submit or commit to your documentary.
Right.
Correct?
Correct.
You never called me and told me, Gypsy, I want to interview you, and I'm recording you now for that interview. Before I said, yes, I would. Taylor, come on now. So I hope you publish that conversation because I told you yesterday, I tell the truth all the time.
Right. If you want me to cut anything, I can.
Wait a minute. No.
Okay.
What I want you to do is be honest.
I will.
I want you to be forthright. Because, Taylor, you were in a cabal of people who tried to discredit me, to devalue me, to replace me.
Right.
And then you come with the same type of subterfuge as those people in that cabal. How can I trust you?
I'm not coming to you with subterfuge now.
Oh, no, not now, because I asked you about it.
Well, no, I brought it up yesterday, and then we got carried away talking, and...
You You did not say, hey, Gypsy, I think I'm going to record you as we talk. Did you say that?
I did not.
Did you legally, there are laws, did you legally inform me that you were recording me?
I'm not actually sure on that. Utah is a single-party consent state, but I do believe in...
Oh, so now,
Well,
you won't answer that question.
well, because I don't know the answer.
So do you think it's forthright and honest and correct to record a personal conversation without informing the other person?
I was going to tell you, but like I said, when you talk,
Recorded me?
when you talk, I listen and I got carried away. I'm sorry. So I'll let you know I recorded that. I'm recording now.
When did you start recording?
When the phone was ringing.
So it wasn't after you got carried away. It wasn't after we started talking and you got carried away. So I tell you what, I want you to take that and I want you to publish it.
Okay.
I want you to let whoever else in the world hear it. And if you edit it, leave things out, then I will publish that.
Okay.
Now, as far as you and I collaborating on the documentary, at this moment, I don't know if I can trust you, man.
Well, okay, let me be clear. I was trying to tell you, and I'm recording now, so I don't want there to be any secrets here. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. But you have a lot to say, and I find it interesting,
I have a volumes to say. I've been training dogs 50 years. I have lots to say.
And I love to listen.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And so that...
I'm going to tell you something no one else can tell you.
Okay.
Yeah, it has value.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm sorry I wasn't direct with you. As soon as I called you, you jumped right into it, and I got excited, man. I'm sorry.
Because I'm a real man.
That's right. So I am sorry. If I betrayed your trust or anything, I didn't mean to, and I was planning on telling you today about that.
Come on, let's get real. You did mean to. Because at no time did you say, I'm recording this conversation.
Since it didn't happen yesterday, I was going to tell you today.
Okay.
Which is why I answered truthfully when you asked me. And I'm glad you brought it up in the beginning so we could get that out of the way.
Okay.
Is that okay with you?
It's an explanation that, to some degree.
Okay.
I'll have to accept it because I'm not there to hit you upside the head.
Would you like me to hit myself upside the head for you?
No,
Okay.
I know how to do it.
Okay. I am sorry.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that the first encounter with you was illegitimate and had no scruples. I am sorry because I thought I could speak to you openly and truthfully the way I do anybody until I realized you're an adversary. I forgave you for being an adversary before you ever talked to me or encountered me.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I forgave you for that. And you still didn't reveal that you were recording my conversation, man. That's not how you engender trust.
If you would like, we can start over. I can delete that. We'll start over now. Fresh start.
Why delete it? I'm not ashamed of it.
Well,
None of it was untrue.
No, I'm not saying that. But just as a gesture of good faith. If you want it deleted because you feel like it was recorded in bad faith, then it'll be done, and then we can start over.
Don't you think it was recorded in bad faith?
I mean, it wasn't meant to be recorded in bad faith, but since I didn't tell you, yes, I believe it was recorded in bad faith. But I didn't mean it to be bad.
Now comes the time when you have to gain my trust back.
How can I do that?
Create good faith.
How can I do that?
By being honest,
okay,
being truthful, by being Why are you calling me?
Because I want to get your story for the documentary. And then I'm going to do the same thing with Tim Jones. I'm going to do the same thing with JD, but he's not going to have as much stock as you and Tim. And I'm going to do the same thing with myself, and I'm going to find a couple people who have been breeding between the early 2000s and now, as the breed has become more popular. Those people who have been involved, I want everybody's side of the story, and then everybody can watch it. They can hear you. They can hear Tim. Something that's never been done before. All of you in one video explaining...
Tell each one of them that you're recording them at the beginning of the conversation.
Yes, sir.
So they have an advantage over me immediately that you give them. Again,
well,
that sounds adversarial. Just step outside of yourself for a moment and
okay.
Look at this objectively. Doesn't that sound adversarial?
Yes.
Yeah, see, I'm not an ignorant man.
I don't believe you are.
I'm not, whether you believe it or not.
That's fair.
I'm not. So go ahead, I'm listening.
Okay. So I want to get everybody in one video explaining their perspectives. I want to interview JD just because he has been involved and he's gathered a lot of the data and paperwork and stuff into one place, and so I think he deserves a little bit of legitimacy from that.
What does he deserve?
A little bit of legitimacy. But like you said, he doesn't have dogs. He's not working any dogs.
Where's the legitimacy? Legitimate as what?
Because he's been gathering the paperwork and the information, all that stuff that we didn't have in the beginning. All we knew is that we had good dogs, that they come from a good kennel.
What paperwork did he gather?
Pedigrees on dogs that we didn't have pedigrees from.
With your dog?
What's that?
Didn't you get papers with your dog when you purchased it from here?
Yes, sir. But what I mean is...
Then what did he offer that was counter that?
It wasn't getting papers from you. It was finding a whole bunch of people who had come from you and getting papers from them.
Did they get papers?
They did. But here's what he did.
What's the issue?
I'm trying to get there. So he took pedigrees from everybody with their permission and put it together to try and build a family tree of the Canis Panther, trying to go back to the original. So we had a more complete picture. And
what picture did he accumulate different from the picture that they got when they came here, purchased their animal, and got their papers? Because they're registered.
Right. So
pedigree on every dog.
Right. So it's like I have a dog, but my dog's pedigree only goes back so far, and there's some gaps in there, and it might go back 3 or 4 generations, but I can't see cousins and brothers and sisters, and so JD played a role in getting all that so we could see a better picture of the whole breed.
And for what purpose?
I mean, me personally, it's because I love the history, and I believe that...
So why didn't you call me?
Well, I messaged you on Facebook, and you would never message me back, and so I talked to Lori.
I'm not about all the messaging back and forth on Facebook.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
My number is accessible.
Okay.
Anywhere you go, my number is accessible. It's been the same number for 25 years.
I didn't know that.
If you were really interested in my side of things, why didn't you just call me? Why didn't you ask JD for my phone number?
Okay. So I'm going to tell... You wanted me to be honest with you. So I'm going to tell you...
I think you want to be honest with me. Go ahead.
Oh, I do want to be honest. I prefer to be honest.
Here's the opportunity.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So there's 2 things. One, I messaged you on Facebook, and you're not about that. That's fine. And when you didn't answer, so then I went to Lori, and Lori, I feel like she felt skeptical about my intention, so she didn't answer me. And then when I got my male Canis Panther, Heisenberg, the breeder he came from had mentioned that they believed you would not talk to a white man. You would talk to...
My wife is white.
I know.
So didn't that just make you say to that person, you're an idiot? His wife is white.
Well, I did, and she specified that it's white men that you have an issue with. You'll talk to white women. You'll talk to anybody.
Come on.
Yeah.
And so you believed that?
I didn't believe it.
You believed it.
No, I didn't believe it.
Basis for you accepting that from
No.
someone. If somebody told me that about you, I would have to question them.
Right, and I did question it. I did.
Them, what is your evidence of that?
I did, but then I messaged you on Facebook and you never replied, so then I assumed that it was true.
All it takes is a phone call. That's how you talk to people.
That's fair.
Phone call. Do you think I would sit up and type out all these words?
Some people do, and I was hoping
they don't
that...
have anything to do. They don't got no work to do. If they could sit up and type back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and write a book for you.
Right. I was hoping that you would tell me to call you or give me your number or at least say hi to me or something. So
my number is accessible.
Okay. I didn't know that at the time, but I do now.
You've never been to Rockabage's Skin on Facebook at all, ever?
I have.
The number is there.
Right, but I was also talking to Lori, and so at the time, I also felt like, if she's talking to me, then I don't necessarily have to go to you anyway.
Why? She wasn't a founder of the breed.
Right.
It wasn't that the question at hand?
Yes.
Yeah. Come on, man. This don't sound right.
You're doing a good job of making me feel like an ass.
I'm doing a good job of exposing. Now, your feelings, if you have feelings, are legitimate. And I'm not making you anything. You should have felt that way before you did it. Unless you laugh to yourself maniacally. Oh, I don't believe this guy.
No, I never laugh to myself maniacally about you.
Well, it could. Well, there's nothing funny about me, man.
Right.
Not one thing.
Well, I must say your honesty makes me feel much better about talking to you. And I am sorry that I didn't approach you better earlier.
I have known you as a white man. You're messaging me.
I guess you wouldn't have.
Photograph of yourself. I just can't. I can't understand that. If somebody told me that you wouldn't talk to a black man, I would say, how do you know that?
Right.
Have you ever tried to talk to this man? And then I would say, why are you saying that? If you haven't talked to this man, if you've never attempted to talk to Gypsy, then why are you saying it? What is your motive for saying that?
Mm-hmm. And, in my defense, recently when I was getting ideas for this documentary, I went to your page and I was looking through your archive photos, and I saw that you do some training with, there's at least one white gentleman that has done training with you. I saw, I think he was in a bike suit, and you're there.
I train with white people,
yeah,
yellow people, brown people. I train with people.
Right. And so when I saw that...
Why? I'll tell you why. Because no matter what race you are, there's a criminal around you.
Mm-hmm.
White people get broke in all the time.
Yep.
By other white people.
Yeah.
Spanish people get broke in all the time by other Spanish people. Asian people get broke in. They get advanced. They get molested. They get attacked. That has nothing to do with race whatsoever.
Right.
That is a human condition. About some people are honest and hardworking, and other people are thieves and connivers and manipulators.
Yes.
And it has nothing to do with race.
I agree. So, to answer your question about why I didn't approach you to begin with, that's why. And I'm sorry.
But you did approach me, and you approached me in a way that is not legitimate. You tried to put me at a disadvantage, even though I was open honest and frank with you.
I wasn't trying to put you at a disadvantage.
But you did. If you run over my kid out in the road and say I wasn't trying to,
Right.
I was just looking at my phone. That doesn't excuse my bloody child in the road. It doesn't excuse what you try to do. What I try to do is be honest all the time. That takes effort.
It does.
To be honest, to be real, and to be merciful. It takes effort.
It does.
Man, I just, it hurts. I tell you, it hurts. Because, haters are going to hate.
Yeah.
And when somebody comes to me with some hateful shit, I always ask them, why are you coming to me with this hateful shit? What is your evidence that you needed to be hateful with me? What is your motivation?
Right.
Yeah. Because when you came here, did you leave here with my book? Didn't I give you a book?
No, Lori sent Ripley here on the airplane. I didn't come to you.
She sent you a book, though.
I'm not sure.
I think she did because she does with everyone.
Okay.
And she does it because she wants people to be successful at raising their pet protector. Are you aware of that book?
I am.
Owner's Guide to Raising Your Pet Protector.
Yes, sir. And I do intend to get a signed copy off of Amazon. That was going to be part of what I was doing here. So at the very least, you're going to get some money from that.
There is a historical account of the Canis Panther and how it was made and who made it.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's completely accurate. There's no...
Why wouldn't it be?
Well, no, I have to ask,
Why wouldn't it be? That's my answer. Why wouldn't it be?
I guess it would be. I did have another question for you.
Scorp had a copy of my book. Did he ever get on the internet and say, this is all lies?
No. Not that I'm aware of.
Scorp registered people. Registered dogs with the DRA, Dog Registry of America. If he didn't think it was legit, why would he do that? As a matter of fact, Scorp gave me his permission. I've never done anything with the Canis Panther without his permission. I talk to Scorp every day.
I've got a question for you about that. Does that include breeding in Labrador? Because Tim says that Labrador was never bred in, but then...
Tim don't know. How does Tim know?
Well, that's why I'm asking you.
He don't know. So when you've done your genetic test, have you found Labrador?
Yes.
Okay. That's the end of that discussion. When you genetically tested Tim's dog, did you find Labrador?
I did not.
Did you find Doberman?
Yes. A small amount of Doberman. It was...
Did you find Staff? Because yesterday you told me you tested his dog and it was a Great Dane.
Right.
Is that true or not?
It is.
Was that true or not?
It was true. I got a dog from him, and then we tested her father, her mother, and then one of these other dogs. But her mother's results didn't come through.
The dog you got from Tim was a Great Dane, correct?
He says that it's a Panther descended from Scorpio's lines.
Tested it.
It tests as a
Great Dane.
It does test as a Great Dane. That is correct.
Oh, come on, man. Then how you gonna believe Tim?
Well,
I don't get this.
The reason is because with the genetics, they don't test every gene. They only test a small number of them. So there can be...
The dog that you tested.
Right. So there could be genes in there.
Was a Great Dane.
Right, but...
But he told you it was a Canis Panther.
Right. But...
So what is that? How does that add up?
Because...
What's the equivocation there?
Because even Embark will say that they don't test every gene. There are some genes that can be from somewhere else, but they don't test them, and so a dog can...
that you got from him tested to be a Great Dane.
No.
You didn't say Great Dane mix.
No.
You said Great Dane, correct?
No, sir. The dog I got is Great Dane mix. Her father is Great Dane. The mother is something totally different.
Well, come on, Dan. So where's the legitimacy on that end? Didn't that give you pause?
Yes, and
Okay, then.
and if you think there was bad talk about you in the cabal, there was definitely talk about Tim as well. I would argue worse for Tim than you.
Well, there could be nothing against me. Nothing.
Right.
Did you test the guy from Texas? What's his name again?
Chris Tucker.
Yeah. Did you test his Canis Panther?
No, I have nothing to do with him, and I don't want.
There's a zero there.
Right.
But when you were in that cabal, he was part of it, correct?
Not when I was there. So him and JD were in cahoots.
He was presented legitimately.
Right.
Correct?
Him and JD were working together before I was involved. I was involved in the breed.
JD introduced him to this cabal, even before you were there, because I'm sure there was some residue from him. He was presented as some type of expert, correct?
I don't know about that. After he left,
Then why was he there?
I don't know.
What was his well, JD had to tell you something.
He left before I came back.
Something. If they got all these words to say about Tim and about me, what did he tell you about Chris Tucker?
From what I remember, Chris Tucker was just like getting less and less involved, and then he just didn't want to.
Why was he one of the moderators of that board? Why was he a moderator?
Right.
Why was anyone listening to what he had to say? What was the basis of that? What was the platform of legitimacy?
My understanding is that page was originally created by some guy, and then he made Chris Tucker an admin, and then JD started talking to the owner, and then was able to get Chris Tucker removed as a moderator, and then JD was made the owner.
Board. He
Right.
put him there.
Well, no, somebody else owned the page beforehand, and then he put JD in charge because he didn't want anything to do with the breed anymore.
You added Chris Tucker.
No.
Chris Tucker didn't just come out of nowhere.
No, Chris Tucker was an admin before JD was trying to get the page.
And what was his platform of legitimacy? Why was he considered someone that people should listen to?
I don't know, because the guy
that's part of your documentary, buddy.
Oh no, yeah, for sure, but I don't know anything about that guy or what his involvement in the breed is.
How many times Chris Tucker ever shook hands with Score? Don't know. That might be a question to ask. How much time did you spend with Scorpio Chris Tucker? And how many dogs did you get from him? That would be important.
I reckon the answer would be 0. Is that?
It is 0.
That's fair enough. So how many dogs did Scorpio give you?
I got dogs from Scorpio and Lucas Lopez.
Oh,
So when Lucas Lopez got sick, he sent his dogs to me, Jim McCoy, when he picked them up. Brought them right here at Rock of Ages Kennel.
So I always see Lucas Lopez mentioned in the breed of history, but nobody seems to know what he actually did. Can you?
You mean to tell me Tim didn't say all that? Tim didn't give you the historical background on Lucas Lopez? I wonder why.
I haven't fully interviewed Tim yet. I've only got a little bit.
Have you ever talked to him at all?
I don't know.
Oh, well, you don't know if you've talked to Tim at all.
Well, I've talked to Tim, but I don't know if Tim talked to Mr. Lopez.
Of course he did. Lucas was at Scorp's house every other day.
Did he get along with Tim or no?
Tim was a kid.
Okay.
Men don't get along with kids.
Okay. So what was Mr. Lopez doing with Scorpio for the Canis Panther?
Luke was a great resource and backstop for Scorp. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
For training or breeding or?
No, he never trained anything.
Was he a source on?
Breeding. Just breeding.
Okay.
He was somebody Scorp could trust.
Was he a source
Somebody I trust because I saw him every other day.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. What dogs did he bring in that Scorpio didn't?
What dogs did he bring in? No, he didn't bring any in. He was a caretaker of dogs.
Okay.
And bred dogs that Scorp and or I gave an okay to. He was a backstop.
Okay.
And a governor, let's say. That
So
could trust, because other people can't be trusted.
Right.
They see something good, they see somebody making $1 for something good, then they want to take it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they want to take it.
So
You couldn't take it from Luke.
that's good.
Luke had a great job. He didn't need money. He was a very honest man, simple and honest. And that's why him and Scorp were able to collaborate for as long as they did, till Scorp died.
So Scorpio was the breeder, you were the trainer, and Mr. Lopez was...
Breeder.
Okay.
And Scorpio was more than a breeder. He was a force of nature. One of the greatest men I've ever known.
Can you tell me why that is?
Dog man. What?
Can you tell me why that is?
Why he was so great?
Yeah.
I think it was because of his mother, to be honest.
She had a pretty high standard for him?
Well, she was a very loving mother. Must have taught him a lot. She taught all of the kids a lot. But he was a lot of man. A lot. More than any other man I've ever known.
Okay. What do you know about the very first Canis Panther?
What I know is I was there when he was born, when they were born. I was there when they were bred. That's what I know. I know everything. I was there. I was part of it. An integral part of it. Not just on the periphery. Not just observing.
Okay, so...
I wasn't just an observer.
Right. Let me open my notes here real quick, because I had a question, the same question for Tim, and he told me, I'm trying to figure out who it is. I think he said the first Canis Panther was Tupac. Is that...
No.
No?
No.
Who was it? If you can...
It wasn't Tupac.
Where does Tupac fall in the family tree?
It's about 3 generations back from the first.
Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't Tupac. Tupac was one of Scorp's last dogs that he worked, trained, and showed. Tupac was a great dog. Great.
At least
the love was even greater.
At least you and Tim agree on that.
Yeah, he was great.
So,
Tupac, as a matter of fact, I think he was Ruby's brother, belly brother.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Ruby, we can see her in some of the pedigrees, right?
Yeah.
Cool. I don't think I've seen her in mine, but I've got Velvet Panther.
Well, it wasn't just one dog.
Right.
Created all these dogs. This is a blend, and it doesn't happen overnight.
So what dogs were bred together to create the first litter of Canis Panthers?
That's a trade secret that I'm not... I have the paperwork in the house. Lori has all that.
Okay.
Straight from Scorp's hand. But that's very valuable, and you don't just cast your pearl among swine.
Right.
Not that you're a swine. You did approach me in that manner, and you came from a cabal of swine. And so why would I feed my enemies?
You shouldn't.
Why would I do that?
You shouldn't.
Why? Well, then why would you expect me to?
I don't expect you to.
Am I that stupid? Am I that
No.
gullible? Am
No,
I that
sir.
starving for attention? I go, oh, look, let me tell you everything.
My goal is
and I know you come out of the cabal. Why would I do that?
Right.
Why would anyone do that?
That's fair. So, are you okay if I tell you what Tim told me, and then...
Go ahead, man.
Okay. So, I think Tim was drinking when we had this conversation, so he told me the next...
I'm not drinking.
No, I'm just letting you know. He said that, the information might not be completely correct, but he said that the first Canis Panther was Doberman Dane mix, and then it was bred to, I can't remember, he said like a lab mix or something like that.
Oh, but I just thought you said Tim told you was no lab in it at all.
Well,
didn't you just tell me that?
I did,
Tim
but, well, here's...
Wait a minute. You just told me, quote, Tim told you there was no lab in the Canis Panther, didn't he?
No, he said the genetics show no lab in his dogs, and he said that you bred in lab.
He didn't have no dog.
Right.
Until Scorpio was dead.
And I'm just letting you know, but...
Kim, when did you have your first Canis Panther?
I will.
Question.
I will ask him.
Yeah. When did you have your first Canis Panther? When did you start breeding Canis Panthers? And the answer is, not while Scorp was alive, because Scorp didn't play that.
Okay. I will ask him, and then I'll put that in the documentary so you can see what his answer is. How does that sound? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so I'm going to ask him and put his answer in the documentary so you can see it. Are you okay with that? You want to see how that goes?
That's your documentary, man.
Okay.
You're gonna do that. You're gonna edit this thing to serve your purpose. Possibly to serve JD's purpose.
No. Absolutely not.
How do I know that?
You'll know it when you see the documentary. In fact, after I make it, I was going to send it to you and Tim first to make sure you guys are okay with what you see. If you don't like it, I'll fix it.
Yeah.
To make sure that... Because my goal... So, yes, I've been working with JD. But...
Yeah.
But, hang on. We don't get along because at the end of the day, JD wants money.
Because he is not honest. That's why you didn't get along.
Right.
Because he is a manipulator. That's why you didn't get along.
Right.
And you realize that he wasn't legit.
Mm-hmm. And
that's why you didn't get along.
And at the end of the day, his goal is money, and my goal has always been what's best for this breed. And that's why I wanted to make the documentary. That's my personal reason. The thing with other kennels and like putting the record straight, stuff like that, that's more of what everybody says they want. Me personally...
Have they called me? Any of those people?
JD has. I know that JD did.
And what was our conversation when he called me?
He hasn't talked a lot about it. Maybe because he's hiding things, but he said that you talk a lot.
Someone told you I don't talk to black people? I mean, I don't talk to white men?
No, and so, that was another thing. I was kind of surprised that you had talked to him. But then you also ignored me on Facebook, so I thought,
I may have a message that JD sent me a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Whereas he told me, apologize that we had gotten off on the wrong foot. And can't we mend our relationship? Yeah, I didn't respond to that.
Would you like that screenshot to go in the documentary?
Maybe. I don't see value. Everything you do, say, and think is either going to create value or destroy value.
Right.
I'm not into destroying value.
Okay.
I'm into creating value.
You think about it. Let me know what you think. If you want it in there, I'll put it in there. Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, so since we were talking about honesty earlier, let me ask you this. I think you're okay with it, but let me get your thoughts. Are you okay with me going to your Rock of Ages and your personal page and getting pictures and videos of you with Canis Panthers and trainers?
My wife. She takes care of all that.
Okay. After we're done with all this talking, then I'll shoot her a message.
Okay.
Awesome. So the first litter of Canis Panthers, you don't have to tell me, what the breeds were, but did you do a similar thing to create a separate litter and then start them together, or did you have that first litter and breed stuff in piece by piece as you went?
Several litters. Several.
Okay.
Yeah, several. And Lucas Lopez held most of them down until a selection was made, then they were brought to Score's house, or vice versa. Again, Lucas Lopez was like a vault. No one could get in or out past Luke.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he was actually a really key player.
He was oh God, yes, in every document that there has been about the Canis Panther, Lucas Lopez comes right after Scorpio. I've never put my name first. Never.
That's very
You will
honorable.
not find that anywhere out of anybody's mouth. It's always Scorpio, Lucas, and myself. Period. You listened to the documentary. You heard it yourself.
Right.
Yeah. Did I sound like I was trying to glorify me?
No?
No. JD ever sound like he was trying to glorify JD? Yes.
You already know the answer.
Did Tim try to sound like he was trying to glorify Tim? Yes.
Yes. I'll tell you this, Tim is excited to be breeding. He does.
Well, he should be.
He does love his dogs, but
He should.
there's
Some family of dog people. I wouldn't doubt that in a minute.
Would you get a dog from him if you thought that it was a solid dog?
I have to see it and talk to him, but I tell you this, I never have. Never.
Would you be open to talking to him?
I've talked to Tim. Tim called me not too long ago. I don't hear he don't say, hey, Gypsy, this is Tim, and I hang up. Or say, you fucker, what do I want to talk to you for? Never done that. Never done that.
Okay.
That's not how I operate.
Okay. So, you and him had a conversation. How did it go?
We've had several conversations. I've known Tim since he was a kid.
Right. Is he trying to get dogs from you or give you dogs, or is he just catching up, or what?
No. I don't know if he's trying to get dogs from me or not.
Would you sell him one?
Would I?
Yeah.
Probably yes. Why not?
Okay.
Why not? Why wouldn't I?
I don't know. I
would sell JP one. As bad as I think he is, I would sell him one. And when it came to raising it, I would advise him, just like I would anybody else. Who told you I don't talk to white men? That's the craziness. Who told you that?
So it was a rumor of a rumor. So when I went and got Heisenberg, that was coming from Sarika. She had gotten a dog, Klaus, from
Bill Ellinger, who was a white man who came to my house.
Okay.
Who I talked to just 3 weeks ago.
Interesting.
God.
Now, you know what? Maybe.
If Bill Ellinger's a white man,
Right.
and she got her dog from him, how could that rumor exist?
Well, so my understanding was that, like, Bill Ellinger just kind of had, like, an exception with you just because of his experience or whatever.
What type of exception? What type of exception?
Well, maybe you make exceptions for exceptional dog trainers. I don't know. But I just got an idea. Maybe she said that so that I wouldn't approach you, so she could keep a monopoly on the information. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Yeah, really. Now that you've talked to me, of course it makes sense.
Right.
I don't have a problem. Bill Ellis is one of my guys.
Right.
If you've gone to my site, you've seen Bill Elger in front of my dog, Chief Little Dog. And on the caption says, I want to thank Bill Elger so much.
Mm-hmm.
He's the first person to fire my dog up. I didn't get along with white men. Why would I give him that kind of credit?
You wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
You've given me a lot to think about here. Because my thoughts for the last several years have been that. I didn't hold it against you, you know.
Of
but,
course you would. You're a white man.
Well, no, because...
Of course you would hold it against me.
No, I didn't. And the reason is because my understanding has also been, and maybe you can corroborate this, my understanding was that as dogmen in Chicago in the 70s, white people didn't like dogmen breeding with their dogs. So you guys would have jobs handling show dogs and then using them as breeding stock. But because you were treated poorly, you kind of had a mentality of like, you know, don't mess with me, I'm not going to mess with you. And so I just kind of, you know, I'm not going to hold that.
A white woman. Then I went and married a white woman.
Right.
And I go to her family's gatherings and birthday parties and all that.
I didn't know that, you know.
Of course you did.
But I'm just saying,
Somebody
like...
else's word for me.
Right.
And without any evidence whatsoever.
Yeah, and I feel a little silly about that now.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, I'm glad that I'm talking to you. I'm glad that that's set straight.
Anybody interested in the Canis Panther or dogs in general would be glad to talk to me. Anybody. Ku Klux Klan members, which I've helped several of with their dogs. I don't care who you are, because you have a common goal to be safe in your home. That is my goal. That is my only goal when it comes to dogs. Besides the hugs and the kisses and the wagging tails.
Right. That's the best part, isn't it?
No.
No, okay.
Good part. Best part is knowing motherfuckers ain't trying to come in my house because I got a dragon in here.
Right.
That's the best part.
I like that. I like the way you said that.
That's the reason.
So you will literally help anybody.
Anybody.
As long as it's dogs.
Everybody needs to be protected.
Okay.
And there's no one who can tell you any different.
I appreciate that.
And I think in the future you should say, when people have something bad to say about me, you should say, well, have you ever talked to Gypsy? Because even after I found out you called here with subterfuge, I'm still talking to you.
Right.
Even after I knew you were part of the cabal that was trying to destroy me, I still talk to you.
Right.
Didn't I? Yeah. So in the future, or go back to the people who told you that and ask them, why would you tell me something like that? Have you ever talked to the man?
I will do that from now on.
Yeah, man.
It's a good point. And, you know, I think that is one way that I've...
It's easy to accept it when somebody tell you, well, he won't talk to a white man.
Right.
Oh, my God.
I'm glad you find it funny. It's a little bit of a weight off my shoulders. Like I said, I didn't hold it against you, but I always felt like I had to walk on eggshells, you know?
I find it remarkable. I've never said JP wouldn't talk to a black man.
Right.
And I think he probably is a secret Nazi out of Idaho.
You hope he's a secret Nazi?
Yeah, I have. That has come across my mind. What is his motivation for being so negative to me that I've never done anything to him?
Right.
Not one thing. Never lied to him. Never discriminated against him. What I didn't do was allow him to become the middleman, the broker for the Canis Panther breed. And that was his desire. That's what he expressed to me.
Do you know why he approached you about that to begin with? Like, did he...
Because he saw my dog. And he knew I had a bunch of them. And they all looked great. And something must have went through his head. Boy, this guy, he's just a farmer. He don't know what he's got. I can turn this into a bonanza.
Right.
Yeah.
you're also I'm guessing you're not trying to get rich off of the dogs either.
Man, hell no.
Okay.
By trying to get rich off no dogs, you can't get rich off no dogs. He thinks you can.
Yeah.
But in order for him to do that, he would have to eliminate me.
Right.
Because the simple question that anybody with any logical mind would say, well, JD, where'd you get your dog? Oh, I got him from, Gypsy. I got him from Gypsy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they would say to the lady out in California, NorCal, well, where'd you get your dog?
Gypsy.
Well, actually, I got him from Bill. Well, where'd Bill get him? Oh, he got him from Gypsy.
The way you make them sound sad when they say it is just, it's amazing.
Sad. Yeah, of course they're sad. Because how can you try to diminish a person where that's where the source you got it from? Now comes into question your motive. And that's even harder to explain. Motive.
Right.
Because I haven't cheated anyone. I haven't lied to anyone. I haven't slandered anyone. You can't find anywhere on the internet where cowards go to express themselves, where I have degraded or denigrated anyone. You can't, because it don't exist.
Mm-hmm. When JD approached you about being the middleman, did he tell you or indicate in any way that he had experience in dog training or breeding or anything?
And no, he brought his trainer with him.
Okay. And so literally all he was offering...
I told his trainer, and I'm about to ask my wife what his name was, his girlfriend, his wife now, his name Abby Holmes. But I told him, that's your boss, pointed to JD, but I will teach you how to train. That's what I told him. You can ask JD that. If he's got any ounce of truth in him, he'll tell you, yeah, he did say that. I didn't tell the guy he brought here, hey, this guy don't know nothing.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, the first words I said to JD was, hey, tough guy, you must be the tough guy that's been talking tough to my wife.
Was he talking tough to your wife?
Well, he tried to.
How?
I wasn't part of the conversation.
But Lori wasn't happy about it.
Nope. Because JD's a trickster, man. My wife ain't no fool. She ain't Pollyanna. She know a slickster when she talking to one. So with the first words out of my mouth, oh, you must be the tough guy. Trying to talk tough to my wife. Well, of course, he apologized and made it seem like, well, that was a misunderstanding, all that. But I didn't. There was no misunderstanding. I'm clear as a bell, man. I don't play. I do not play. You talk tough to my wife, I'm going to say something about it. And now you have the chance to apologize, or it's time to get busy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And he apologized.
Yeah, of course he did, because he wanted that dog, and I'm standing right in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
So why did you sell him a dog to begin with?
Because he needed one.
Okay. So how do you feel that he rehomed it, and now, I don't know for sure, but as far as I know, he
did, because he don't know what to do with a dog.
Besides sell it.
I don't know what he does. He could cook them and make jackets out of them. I don't know. Shit. I'm not into JD, man. You think how many brain cells you think I've burned up over JD, about JD? Not many.
Yeah, I was going to say, I hope none.
Not many.
It's not worth the drama.
I respect work, not words.
Yeah, I get that.
Good girl. Good girl. Go ahead.
So, so when we did genetics, a little bit of a topic change, we have found Labrador in the breed.
Okay.
first question, was that intentional or by design?
Everything about the dog is by design.
Okay.
It's not a, I tell people all the time, this is not a mixed breed. It's a blended breed dog. You can't blend all these dogs at one time. It takes time.
Mm-hmm.
It takes effort.
Now,
You have to see if a dog is suitable to blend. And then after that blend, you have to see, was that blend successful or not?
right.
Yeah.
Now,
Scorp didn't just kill dogs if they didn't meet mine or Luke's standards, because they were still good enough dogs for people, and people wanted them. So there are people who have had, there are a lot of people who have had Canis Panthers, man. And when did they get them? At what point in the blend did they get them? Did they get them before they were registered or after? Did the people who you know find someone with a Canis Panther or a derivative after so many generations and they still call it a Canis Panther? And they got one from them? I don't know.
There's only...
I don't keep up with my dogs.
Right.
I don't care about what other people do. I can't control them.
Mm-hmm.
I can control me.
Do you know a gentleman named George LeYoung?
No, not that I know of.
Okay.
Why? Who is he?
Actually, I don't know. So I talked to him a few times.
So why did you ask me the name? You must know something.
Well, we're right. So I've never met him. I've talked to him on the phone a few times.
Mm-hmm.
He had this blue 10-point bitch that he called a Canis Panther. Beautiful dog. I wanted puppies from it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he kept talking about he's not going to breed, or he's not ready. And then he's getting up there in age. He told me he was like 78 or something. So if he bred her, what he was fixing to do was he was going to breed it to a lab, and then just to soften the temperament. That's what he wanted.
Okay.
And then he put me in touch with Tim. So now I talked to Tim.
Happy with his dog? He wasn't happy with his dog?
Apparently not. I mean, he wanted to breed in lab. But when I talked to him, and I want your opinion on this, he said that Labrador was bred in to give the breed a softer bite so that you could take the protection dog and then it could also be your hunting dog. You could do both. It was a little bit more versatile.
Look, you'll see why dogs were blended in. And that's not the reason. So I don't know where he got that from.
Okay.
He didn't get it from me. He didn't get it from Scorp. He didn't get that from Kim. He made that up.
Why do you think he made that up?
Because where did he get it from? If you don't get it from the source, what do? You make it up.
Yeah, but why? I mean, I don't know.
Well, maybe because he thought that was going to help him sell his dogs. I don't know, man. How many brain cells I got to burn up over a guy I don't even know existed?
None. I wouldn't worry about it, but I wanted your thoughts on it.
Yeah. I think he made that up.
Okay.
Because maybe he ain't never worked the lab. The lab can go to the bone to fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Shit, the lab is one of the greatest working dogs on the planet. And they ain't about a soft fight.
Have you ever been bit by a lab?
I've been bit over 100 times, and I've trained all kind of dogs.
Okay.
I know what a lab can do.
Right. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And then you mix that with, Doberman and a Great Dane and all that, then you end up with a good protector.
That's right. You end up with a dragon that you can control if you invest yourself and your time into being its master.
Right.
That's right. They're sweet as pie and mean as a snake.
Do you think that they are better? Well, I mean, obviously you would think they're better than Dobermans.
Don't say that. Ask the question. Don't give me my answer.
Okay. Do you think they're better than Dobermans? And do you think that there could ever be a Doberman that could compare to a Panther?
I'm sure there are. The Germans have made some great Dobermans. There have been some great Dobermans over the years. AKC, though, got involved with the Doberman and diminished it. because they were looking for something else, more cosmetic than functional. Boy, that sounds like an intelligent dog man answer, doesn't it?
Yes. Yes, it does. Let me ask you this. If somebody took the same breeds and blended them together and did the best they could, I'm not saying they did it the same way, but they did the best they could to copy what you did, but with completely different dogs, and they ended up with a dog that looked like a panther, it acted like a panther, you couldn't tell the difference just between looking at them, would you consider those Canis Panthers?
I would ask them, where'd you get your dog, man? That's a damn good-looking dog. Where'd you get that dog?
And then when they told you, that they built it,
himself, I would say, well, it looks like you did a pretty good job. But that's without me living with the dog.
Right.
And then the next generation, will they still have the traits of that dog?
Mm-hmm.
There's more to this. See, we weren't just niggas in the alley. Breeding dogs that walk down the street.
Right.
We were professionals. Conscientious. With a purpose. And we didn't just do things willy-nilly. Scorpio was a brilliant man. And so was Lucas. And I'll leave it to other people to determine my level of intelligence.
Well, so far you seem intelligent.
What?
So far you seem intelligent to me. I like talking to you.
Well, good.
You make a lot of good points, too.
It's because I know what I'm talking about.
Right. I do appreciate you taking your time to...
You appreciate me forgiving you and still talking to you?
I appreciate that, yes.
Me in our initial encounter?
Yes, and I'm still sorry about that.
Why do you think I did that? Why do you think I forgave you?
I'm not sure, but I'm going to guess.
It's not because I'm hungry for publicity.
Right.
It ain't because I'm hungry to do a documentary. I've been asked many times by many people to do documentaries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not needy like that.
I think it's because you like to see the good in people.
That's partial.
Okay.
It's partial.
And maybe...
Because I knew that you've been misinformed. That's why I was able to forgive you. Because you've been misinformed. And you were also misguided.
Yes.
And yes. And so maybe that's why you came to me in such a illegitimate manner. You didn't come to me to learn anything. You came to me to confirm something.
I believe I came to learn, but you're right. You know,
no, you were forced into learning because I'm a teacher.
Okay. Either way, I appreciate that for sure. That's important, you know, and you're filling that role even this late in the game. You know, people talk bad about you, like you said, haters are going to hate, and you're still
haters are going to hate.
Patiently educating people.
If they can't take over what you do, especially if you know more about something than they do, they're going to hate you even harder. So in order to overcome you, they have to diminish you, value you. But I never see, since I'm a real dog man, I always ask, well, how many of them have you trained? Tim knows more about the Canis Panther than JD does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would ask anybody, well, how many dogs you train, man? Oh, no? You haven't trained any? Well, how many have you bred? No? Oh, boy. Then you're at ground zero. You're just a person with an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not an informed opinion at all. It's a contrived opinion.
Right.
Now it goes to the motivation. Well, if you have this opinion, why are you disseminating it throughout the universe? That goes to motive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's what I would say. What's his motive? What's any of them's motive?
What is your motive?
My motive is to provide for people a dog that will keep motherfuckers out of their house.
That's a good motive.
My motive.
That is a good motive.
You better believe it. It's a valuable motive. Because, see, in the dog world, dope dealers don't pray for you.
No.
Smart guys don't pray for you. Other breeders don't pray for you. But when you teach somebody or provide somebody with protection, every time that dog makes somebody walk away, they say, thank God for Gypsy. That's important to me.
Right.
That's my bottom line value. Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Well, it's the truth.
I've got another question for you. So,
Go ahead.
there's people, myself included, who have bred other dogs to the Canis Panther.
And they're not a Canis Panther anymore.
Right. They're a mix.
What comes out of that is not a Canis Panther.
But some of those dogs...
And why would you do that?
Mine was an accident litter.
Didn't have access to another one, is usually the answer.
Mine was an accident litter. They broke out of their crates and they went to town. And then I did keep a bitch out of that litter. I thought she showed promise. And then I've bred her back to a Canis Panther. And those dogs are beautiful.
And where did you get that Canis Panther that you bred back to?
This is Heisenberg. He came from Serena in NorCal, who came from Ellinger, who came from you.
That's right. Go ahead. And she never bred anything into him other than what she came with? Because he left here with 2 dogs.
Yes. So
what did she breed into it?
She bred Klaus to Asia. Those are both Canis Panthers. And then that made Heisenberg, who's mine. And then I got Ripley from you guys.
Okay.
Ripley's
a good dog. Go ahead.
Yes, she was great.
I know. She got lots of hugs and kisses from me. Got her name from me. I named that dog. Didn't I?
You named her Ripley?
That's right.
I thought I named her.
Okay, go ahead.
But maybe you did, and it just didn't come through.
Yeah.
But she was with you guys for a long time, so I don't think you're lying.
I named her, man. I ain't got to lie about none of this. I don't lie about my dick, and I don't lie about no dog. How about that?
I believe you.
Okay.
But no, yeah, she was with you for 4 months, at least, I think. But yeah, so she got out of her crate when she was like 1.5 or something. My male dogo got out of his crate.
Okay.
They did their thing. We got Emma, and then I bred Emma to Heisenberg, who came from Klaus and Asia.
Good.
And
sounds good.
Some of those dogs...
you even associate with all these other people. They don't got what you had.
Right. Well, I'm definitely reconsidering my position with everybody in the breed so far.
You got anybody out? Come on. No, come. Good girl. Go ahead, man.
So, that created Emma, so Emma's half Panther, and then I bred her to Heisenberg. And some of those dogs look really good. I don't know if you could tell, you would be able to tell that there's something else in there. But they look damn close to a Panther, and my goal...
Well, the Canis Panther is, because it's a rare breed, it's highly concentrated genetics. So, yeah, your next litter, after you breed something to it, and then come back and breed it to a Canis Panther, could quite easily fool anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Now, how their temperament is, that's going to be a different thing. Kyron, he's the one that I'm really focused on. He's got a real hot temper, but I don't think he's naturally that way, and the reason is because I had an outbreak of parvo, and it killed all the puppies in that litter except him, Jaho, and Viper. And so I had to quarantine him and Jaho because Viper had already left. That's why she survived. But the other two, they got it, and they survived. So, you know, these puppies that are 3/4 Canis Panther, they survived that. So be proud of that for sure. But because they had parvo for so long, I had to quarantine them in my house, and so he didn't get socialized. And so he's real... But here's the thing, and I don't think you'll be surprised by this at all. He's very resource protective of his owner. His owner has another dog named Dosky. He's a half husky, half Doberman mix, and you know he was his first dog out of these dogs that he has right now. And you know they had a great relationship, and then he got Kyron, and Kyron is real possessive of his owner, and so he will like attack Dosky sometimes because he's like, you need to get away from him, he's mine. Right. And so he's exhibiting protective behavior, but it's like coming out in the wrong way. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Since you're a trainer, do you have a solution for that? Because right now...
Yeah, dog needs a master.
Okay.
Yeah. I tell my dogs, that's my dog. Don't fuck with him.
Right.
That's mine. Just like my shoes, just like my couch. Don't chew my shoes. That's my shoe.
Right.
Just like you use the word possessive.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same thing. That's mine. Do not bother it.
Okay.
And so the dog needs a master.
I will.
Somebody allowed that dog to think he was in charge of things.
Right.
Yeah. Once they think that, they act on it. Dogs are dogs. They ain't people.
For sure. Absolutely. And that's especially true, you know, with like dogos, for example. They're real stubborn. So they get something in their head, man. You basically just about have to beat it out of them, you know.
Lord, you want to come put these dogs up? It's starting to rain. Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just saying that, like, the dogos are real stubborn, so, like, if they get something in their head, you got to beat it out of them, pretty much. And, I mean, you know, bless them for their job, what they do with that boar hunting, but so I love dogos, but once I got Panthers, I really started leaning on Panthers, and so I don't think I want to be involved in dogos that much anymore.
I don't blame you. Good girl. Come on. I'm listening. Go ahead.
So, when people ask me what a Canis Panther is, I usually tell them to think about a Doberman that's a lot smarter and stronger. Would you say that's accurate?
It depends on the dog, man. Sometimes dogs are unintelligent because they're put in the position of having to think like human beings. And so by that standard, it's an unintelligent animal.
Right.
I don't, here's my breakdown on breeds. I don't have mastiffs because they sleep too hard.
Yeah.
If you don't knock something over, you can tiptoe past them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if I didn't have another dog, I would probably gravitate to a mastiff. But if I have a choice, I'm not going to pick a mastiff because they sleep too hard. You have to be a ninja to get past a panther.
Right.
And not just a regular ninja. You got to be a stealth ninja to get past a panther. They're hyper vigilant.
Mm-hmm. And even then, you're not guaranteed because, so I've got my security camera set up so when I'm gone, I can watch like my male panther sleep. He's up and moving around like every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So, you know, you've got to hit that window just right and be stealthy, and I think it's going to be hard for somebody to break in past the dog like that, you know?
Oh, yeah. They're going to let you know. They're going to show you where they are, and they're going to tell them, if you don't leave here, if I could get to you, I'd hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to get hurt, you need to leave. They're very good at communicating that. Mostly every one of them. No matter how you raise them. You can raise them and try to pussify them as much as you want, but you can't get that dog out of them. That's part of their value, in my opinion. Not
I agree.
just their looks.
I agree.
That's right. And that's without any type of formal training. I tell people all the time, you don't got to train this dog anything other than obedience.
Okay.
Yeah, because its protective nature is going to surface.
Right. So let me tell you something I know with Tim's dogs, and then get your opinion on that. So like I said, I got a puppy from him. I did the genetics on her. Her daddy's Dane, but her mom's not. So she's 75% Dane. But what else came out was Cane Corso, Neapolitan Mastiff.
Oh, God, come on, man. Are you sure of that?
That's what the genetics say. The tests are not always accurate.
I can't believe that Tim would do that. So
Well, I didn't either. But Tim did tell me that he sent dogs out to other people, and he's had those people breeding, and then he'd get puppies back eventually.
That's definitely possible.
Yeah.
Corp did the same thing. Put dogs out to other people, and then those people showed themselves not to be trustworthy, so Scorp cut them off.
Yep.
Well, they didn't want to just leave and be put in the wilderness, so they did their thing. And some people got their dogs and called them Canis Panthers, and someone not knowing accepted that, and they called it Canis Panther, and then when they had some offspring, they called that Canis Panther. That's why my first question is always, where did you get your dog?
Right.
Yeah, so immediately, I'm telling you, I don't think Tim would do that. But then you gave me the explanation, and that sounds like that's a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, I mean, because with Tim's results, it is weird, but you also have to remember the genetics are not always perfect, so you can get it.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
And another thing is, Tim did not breed Canis Panthers until after Scorp was dead.
Right, and so you know what I'm wondering is maybe since Tim didn't have any dogs, he went to some people that Scorpio decided.
His sister had a few dogs, had a dog or two.
Okay.
Yeah, but
well,
I cannot account for what other people do.
Right.
And that's why I don't get on the internet and say, he didn't do such and such. He did that. He did. No, I don't do that. I can't account for that. All I can account for is myself.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's totally fair, man. But I'm wondering,
and I don't make enemies of people. People have to make themselves an enemy of mine.
Right.
See, you make an enemy, you have to be a friend. Being a friend is an ongoing proposition.
Okay.
You only need one thing to make an enemy. And once you've made an enemy, they are an enemy.
Right.
But a friend is something you have to be going forward. You don't make a friend just because you meet someone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm not into making enemies or friends. You're going to either see the value of associating with me or you're not.
Right.
Then we'll find out enemy or friend. Obviously, JD saw some value in being associated with me because he was able to come and get a dog that he dreamed big about and a breed that he thought was quite special. But then he decided he was going to take it over. To do that, I'm not a guy you can just eliminate.
Right. And, to be honest, I'm thankful for that because now I can see your side of the story and I can get that information and I can see...
Well, you could have a long time ago, brother.
Yeah, I could have.
You didn't have to accept his rantings, especially if you wanted to know. You could have called me. But you didn't. You stayed with JD. You propagated and disseminated what he was telling you.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to answer for that. That's on you. It's really on him because he took advantage of you. He did.
Yeah.
And he's that type of person. He's going to take advantage. He's a carpetbagger. You know what a carpetbagger is?
I've actually never heard that until my phone call with you yesterday.
Okay, look it up.
I will. It sounds like a powerful insult, though. It sounds kind of funny.
It's a designation. Once you know the definition, then you make the determination whether it's an insult or not. Carpetbaggers didn't think it was an insult. They thought it was an advantage.
Okay.
Yeah. But look it up. If you want, I can tell you the historical reference.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Okay, after the Civil War, the South of the country was in disarray. It had been destroyed because of the Civil War. There were Northerners who saw an advantage that they could take over these decimated people. And they went to the South, and they didn't even have luggage. They had carpet bags that were like overnight bags. And therefore the name came carpetbagger. They were interlopers.
Okay.
Who went to the South to exploit the people of the South. Black people and white people. Their goal was to exploit, to steal, to mislead, to take over. And you know, JD, so you know the term fits.
Yes, I do.
Oh, that's right.
I'm sorry. I had a question for you earlier. Oh, so, what are your thoughts? Maybe Tim went to some people that you and Scorpio had decided were not worthy.
Scorpio made his decisions. I have always had a single mind, tunnel vision. And everything and anything to do with the Panthers, I discussed with Scorpio. And yes, he would say, I don't like this person. Don't fuck with that person. I would say, okay. And that's it. We didn't spend a bunch of our time talking about snakes. We just didn't feed them.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes
just
sense.
Didn't feed them.
So Tim says that some of his dogs, specifically his male that he has right now, are very hot. What would be your opinion on that, knowing that that dog tested as pure Great Dane?
Well, I've trained a lot of Great Danes. They can be real hot. That's why they're part of the blend of the Canis Panther.
Okay. You know, what I thought was interesting was that Great Danes were originally used for boar hunting.
That's right.
Did you ever intend for the Canis Panther to be used as a hunting dog in any way?
Not at all. Not a hunting dog, not a fighting dog, a family pet that protects fiercely.
And that's it. That's the only purpose.
That's the only purpose. That was Scorp's purpose. That was Luke's purpose. It's been my purpose.
How do you feel about people using the dog for different things like weight pulling, or if they did search and rescue or something like that?
This is America, man. People could do what they want to do.
Okay.
I don't do it.
Would you be proud if one of your Canis Panthers was doing search and rescue or something like that?
Probably.
Okay.
But would I be proud if I found out they had gone to South Carolina and beat up all the pit bulls in South Carolina? No.
Okay.
Would I be proud if they had gone to Arkansas and in the hands of pig hunters and they were the top pig killer in the country? No. Would I be proud if they were police canines and all that? Probably not.
Okay.
What I am proud of is when they go to a home, they love who they live with, and they despise everyone else. That's what I'd be proud of.
I can appreciate that.
That's their purpose.
Right.
They were created in Inglewood. You know anything about Inglewood, Chicago, south side of Chicago?
I don't. I've only heard about Inglewood, Los Angeles.
Inglewood, south side of Chicago is probably a lot more dangerous than Los Angeles.
Well, why don't you tell me about the area?
It's dangerous. A lot of gangs, drugs make people break in people's houses.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of macho men that a lot of times that manifests itself in being abusive to women. And so it was a very dangerous environment. But it also had a lot of people in it that just wanted to live and let live.
Right.
Those people need something that makes other people change their mind. Yeah, I put them in already. And that's what a Canis Panther does. It makes you change your mind.
Has Chicago always been as dangerous as it is today?
As far as I know, yes.
Okay. How come you stay there? Well, I guess you live kind of on the outskirts, don't you?
I live in Momence, Illinois. I'm looking out over a cornfield right now. I can look all the way to the Indiana border.
Okay. I'm guessing you prefer that to Chicago.
I do.
I don't blame you.
Because I don't have to be worried all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That somebody's going to try to, while I'm at church or while I'm at work, somebody's going to be trying to go in my house. Or that people are going to disrespect my house and sell drugs in front of it. I don't have to worry about that.
Right. Now, when I got my dog from Tim, I sent a guy up there to pick it up, or to pick her up, and he said that it's a rough neighborhood. He was like, yeah, he was not sure about going in there at all. He's like, well, you hired me for a job, so I did it, but, you know, I was a little sketched out driving up there.
Yeah, he didn't want to do it again.
No, I don't think he does.
So think about the people who had to live there.
Right.
That's what the Canis Panther was made for.
And so the environment of Chicago really shaped what the Canis Panther was supposed to be.
Yes.
Okay. You know, some people will say that you should just get a gun instead of a dog.
Well, a gun can't wake you up.
That's true.
A gun cannot aim itself. And a gun cannot fly to your hand when you call its name.
Right. I know something that can, though.
What?
A Canis Panther.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, man. So, did you grow up in Chicago?
Yes, I did.
And how old are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
70 years old.
So you've been in Chicago, or you were in Chicago 70 years ago.
I was born there. I was born in Cook County Hospital. It's on the west side of Chicago. West side of Chicago is the only place worse than the south side.
Damn. And the your parents, do you know how they came to end up in Chicago?
Yeah, but why is that germane to this conversation?
I'm just curious. For context, because so with the documentary, I want to start with a brief history of Chicago, because I had a hunch that the makings of Chicago made it the violent place it is today, and that the violent place it is today is what shaped the Canis Panther. So,
well, that part is true.
Okay.
That part is true. But my mother had nothing to do with the Canis Panther.
Okay.
But she always had a dog.
Did you grow up with any dogs?
Yep.
What kind of dogs did you?
I found out what a dog was about when I was a child. It's in my book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely going to get it. And all of the copies on Amazon are signed?
No, you have to get them from us for them to be signed.
Okay. Is there a link on your kennel page?
Go right to the canispanther.info and make your request. My wife will respond to you.
Okay.
Yes.
I will.
People just left here with a copy of my book. Came and picked up a puppy.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Do you have any puppies available right now?
Nope.
How often do you breed?
Whenever nature allows it. I don't force it.
Okay.
I'm not trying to populate the world with Canis Panthers. I'd rather not. I don't want to see a Canis Panther in every yard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want that to happen.
That's fair. And, you know, I think that getting popular is one road to destruction for a breed. That's what happened with the...
It certainly is.
Yep.
I've never tried to make it popular. See, I don't care about popularity.
Right.
I care about correctness. I'm much more interested in being correct than I am in being popular. Now, JD, on the other hand, loves popularity.
Yes.
Because he can translate that into money.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
I agree.
Money cannot be the driving factor. It is a factor because we're in America.
Right.
And in America ain't a damn thing funny in this land of milk and honey without some money.
That's what I keep telling people. You know, it's like when you're breeding dogs, if money is your goal, you're never going to have a quality product. You're never going to have a consistent dog. You're never... If the dog is secondary...
You're going to lose your scruples.
Yeah.
Money corrupts.
Mm-hmm.
If it's the underlying principle, then you're corrupt, period.
Yep.
But I believe also that the worker is due his wages. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's fair.
That's right. Put in the work, you're supposed to get your wages. Again, this is America, man.
Right.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you should be building that wealth on the backs and the wombs of dogs.
If that's right. If that's your motivation, then it's corrupt. It's a corrupt motivation. Period. And when you breed dogs, when you have anything to do with dogs, it has to be solemn.
Yeah.
It cannot be monetary. It's got to be a solemn commitment.
I agree.
Then you're not a real dog man. You're a carpetbagger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, you know, as far as being a dog man and stuff, I've heard rumors. Now, you know, I know that this is speculation, but I want your thoughts on it.
Go ahead.
There's rumors that the Canis Panther was used for dog fighting.
No.
To your knowledge, has that ever happened?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
I haven't ever been involved with dog fighting. Ever. Not once. Ever. I cry with dog fight. I cry when a dog is killing a pig. I cry. I don't. Dogs are for people. Bad guys. Ain't no dog come to rape my wife or steal from my house.
Mm-hmm.
Bad guys do that. That's what dogs are for.
Right.
Yes. In this modern age, if I had livestock and there were wolves or coyotes that were trying to kill my livestock, then yes, I would post a dog to protect my livestock.
I agree with that.
That's not what the Canis Panther's for. The Canis Panther is to keep motherfuckers out of your house and out of your face.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say that any clearer. That's why I put the word motherfucker in it.
I appreciate that. Do any of your Canis Panthers ever have, like, same-sex aggression or a little bit of dog aggression?
They have aggression with whoever don't live here.
Okay.
It could be Santa Claus. It could be Mother Teresa. It could be a bear. It could be a rattlesnake. If it don't live here, it's going to have a problem with my dog.
Do Canis Panthers hold grudges?
All dogs hold grudges.
Okay. I never thought about it that way.
Yep, they all hold grudges.
Okay. Do you think the Canis Panther holds a bigger grudge than some other dog breeds?
They just have a reservoir of venom for your ass. If they have developed, if you have challenged them or tried to hurt them or their family, then they will mark you. They will not forget it.
Okay.
They have a long memory.
How do you feel that other people are getting their dogs from you and then they're breeding them? And now let's assume they give you credit, but how does it make you?
This is America. All I can do is control what I can control. I can't burn brain cells or get an ulcer based on what someone else does.
Right.
If that was the case, I wouldn't. How would I live? How would I have any happiness?
No, you wouldn't.
That's right.
There's too many bad people out there.
And I don't allow people to control me. Just don't.
Well, it's good.
Now, my wife, she can control me. No, yes, my wife might control me.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But no one else.
That's the wife's job, isn't it?
Thank God for it.
Yeah, sometimes they get on our nerves, but they keep us safe at the same time.
That's right. A good wife raises a man.
I never thought about it like that.
I was going to tell you, write that down. Yeah, a good wife raises a man.
What advice would you give people getting involved in the Canis Panther or thinking about breeding Canis Panthers?
Well, I would have a question. Why do you want to breed them? That would be my first question. Why do you want to breed Canis Panther?
That is also my first question when people tell me that they want a breeding contract with one of my dogs.
Yeah, why? I thought you came here to get a dog to keep motherfuckers out of your house and out of your face.
Right.
So now you've accomplished that. So now, what's your motivation for wanting to breed them? That's the question I would ask. And the answers are myriad. There are a myriad of answers, so I won't enumerate them all here.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the question I would ask. Why? Why do you want to breed?
Do you think it's possible for people in the future to improve upon the Canis Panther, or do you think that
Depends on the person.
Okay.
Depends on the person and what their motivation is, and then what they do to accomplish that goal. Better is a relative term.
Yes,
Better
absolutely.
Meaning, that's right. Better meaning what? Because JD wanted to make them better for sport. Or at least that's what he said.
That's what he told you? Like that was his intention?
Yeah. And this group. See, again, I'm going to tell you, there are people in that group who call me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't just make it up.
How did
I don't call nobody to say, well, what did he say this week?
Right.
There are people around him in his orbit that report to me.
How did it make you feel when he said that he wanted to breed them for sport instead of protection?
It made me feel two ways. Because I knew if he wanted to breed them for sport, he was going to have to downsize them.
Mm-hmm.
So that made me sad. And then it made me kind of like, okay. Because it made me know then that he's no challenge to me.
Right.
Because they wasn't made for sport. They were made for family, pet, protector.
Mm-hmm.
Size has a lot to do with that. It's part of the psychological warfare.
Right.
Yeah. Bad guys feel more comfortable with a small dog.
Yes, they
They can
do.
overpower it. They may not be harmed as much. Whereas a bigger dog, human beings have a genetic component that is averse to being eaten. Did you know that?
I've heard rumors of it.
Yes.
I haven't seen it in action. You know what I mean? I've never looked a bear in the eyes, but I've heard about it.
Human beings do not like to be eaten.
Oh, okay. Now that you've worded it more simply, yes, I would not like to be eaten. I completely agree with that. I've seen some videos of that. I've seen some loose bully breed mixes just going to town on somebody. I've seen.
That's right.
I saw this
the
guy.
size of Canis Panther gives you it triggers that genetic component in your brain that says, I don't want to be eaten. And so they go down the block to somebody that's got a little dog or no dog.
Right.
And that's before any fight ever occurs. And that's why I call it psychological warfare. So if he wanted to downsize him, I think it's because when he tried to breed him, he didn't get the size back. And I think that's probably because he wasn't breeding Canis Panthers. Oh, no. You mean to tell me JD would be so unscrupulous to breed something else to the Canis Panther? And once he found out it wasn't what he originally could have, what he fell in love with, he created a whole new reason for having them.
Do you think that he bred a Canis Panther to something different to begin with?
I don't know. But I know he didn't have access to a lot of Canis Panthers.
That's true. So let me tell you this and get your thoughts on it, since you know the dogs. He says that based on the genetics, which again, we can't always trust those, he said that Klaus is half American Pit Bull Terrier. He thinks that his dad was an American Pit Bull Terrier.
Does he?
Yes.
So what's the question?
So most of the dogs that he and his associates have, and this includes my male, Heisenberg, these are fairly small for Panthers. My male is about 70 pounds.
Okay.
But in the genetics, he's less than 30% American Pit Bull Terrier and American Staffy.
So let me tell you this.
Okay.
I will tell you this. There are different, let's say, all Canis Panthers are not equal. They were not equal in the beginning. And because of that, they're not all equal now. Scorpio had several dogs placed with several people, some of which he cut off. They didn't want to be castaways, and so they substituted. Some of them, people got dogs from Scorp before they were fully developed, before they were fully blended, let's say.
Okay.
And there's multiple generations. Scorp had lots of dogs. Lucas had lots of dogs. Yeah. I didn't want any dogs. I was a trainer, not a breeder.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think, I'm not saying I want to do this necessarily, but do you think it would be possible to hunt down the descendants of some of those underdeveloped dogs and improve upon them?
For what purpose? That's a lot of work. What's the purpose? What's the motivation?
It is a lot of work. It's more of a hypothetical, but I think it would be an interesting project to do.
Well, if you have that type of time and money and resources, then have at it. This is America. I'm not going to tell no man what to do with his dream.
Okay. Do you think it would be possible?
It could be, but people are so unscrupulous that what you take for granted may not be reality.
Right, which is how Tim ended up selling me a dog that allegedly has Presa Canario and Neapolitan Mastiff in it.
Okay. No dog you get from me is going to have that.
I agree. And here's the crazy part, right? Is you have German Shepherds on the same yard, right? You still have German Shepherds, and you've never had an accident between those two groups.
Hell no.
But Tim has these dogs, and they have some of that in them. And he said he got them from somebody else that originally he gave them Panther. So we'll see. But
he didn't do his homework, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. But there's something else interesting. I want your thoughts on this. He has a Pit Panther bitch. And so we ran the genetics on her, and she came back. Now, I'm not sure how this could even happen, so I have my doubts.
She came back what?
12% Frenchie.
French what? Bulldog?
French Bulldog.
Oh, come on, man. I don't believe that.
I don't either.
Tim ain't did that.
So she was like...
and I'm not Tim's friend.
Right.
But I can't believe he did that.
And I agree. There's
if JD did it, I'd say, well, that's probable.
But yeah, like that's why I said, I'm skeptical about the results. And she did show up as like 40% American Bully instead of Pit Bull Terrier.
Well, we didn't use no American, and I used to breed American Bulldogs, Johnson Bulldogs. My wife has photographs and ribbons from Mr. Johnson himself in his home, at his table. And I never bred them into the Panthers. I never bred them into anything else. I don't do that.
Do you, so my understanding about the American Bully is that it is descended from the American Pit Bull Terrier. How would you feel?
No.
No?
Scott did that.
Okay.
You're aware of the Scott Bulldog?
I am not.
American Bulldog? Okay, well, when you do some research, you'll find that Scott did that. Mr. Johnson didn't do that.
Okay. Well, because that's what came up with American Bully.
Am I getting paid for all of this knowledge I'm giving you?
No.
Okay.
I can pay you in friendship if I mean there's publicity.
You gotta be a friend now. You gotta be a friend. Yeah.
I know you don't consider me.
Process. That's an ongoing process.
It is.
Make an enemy. Once you make an enemy, they're an enemy.
Yeah. And I don't want to make you an enemy. So.
Well, you consorted with my enemy.
I did.
Yes. You supported them. You not only consorted with them, you promoted them.
Yes.
Yes. That makes you suspect.
Yes, it does.
But because I have no fear, I'm able to look over that.
Okay. I appreciate that. Now, I can't guarantee how many people are going to see this documentary. It could be seen by 100 people. It could be seen by thousands. Some of your videos of training have your phone number on it. Your kennel's going to be talked about. So, at the very least, I like to think eventually somebody's going to watch this documentary and believe in you and believe in your dogs and come to you as a result of this. That's what I'm hoping.
If they do, it's okay. If they don't, it's okay. America's a big country.
Yes, it is.
A lot of people. If they want a real Canis Panther that they can be sure is a Canis Panther, then they come to me. They may not know about me, and someone else may deceive them. I have no power over that. None.
Right.
So I don't concern myself with it. I really don't. I'm not jealous. I ain't got a jealous bone in my body. I'm possessive. I'll hurt you over what's mine.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not jealous.
I agree.
No one can replace me. Scorpion's dead, and so is Lucas. I am the last living founder of the breed. Let me repeat that. Scorpio is gone, and so is Lucas. I, the last living founder of the breed.
Do you have intentions of grooming anybody to take your place?
I don't There are people that I trust who have my dogs.
Okay.
I direct people to them. Yeah. I ain't jealous.
I've heard that Lou came and started working with you after him and JD had a falling out. Is that true?
Who did?
Lou Glasgow?
Lou is close. He's close.
He's close?
Yep. Got great dogs. Great.
Okay. Does he work them?
Yeah, he's a dog trainer.
Okay. I like that. Do you have any kids that might take over?
I have children, and they may.
Do they show any interest in it?
Well, yeah, they appreciate the dogs, but they have their own life.
Right. That's fair.
But as far as the successor is concerned, there are people who I trust who have my dogs.
Okay.
And if it comes that I can continue, if they continue to be my friend, and that's a being thing,
Right.
then I bless them. They have my blessing. I'm not jealous.
Mm-hmm.
I don't got a jealous bone in my body. I'm possessive. I will hurt you over what is mine.
Right. And that's totally fair. I think that's reasonable for a man to feel that way, you know?
Yeah. But there are a lot of jealous people. Covetous. They covet.
Yes.
And they act on it, which makes them a carpetbagger.
Yes. I think that term is fitting. So, Tim said, if you don't mind changing the subject just a little bit.
Go ahead.
Tim said that Scorpio originally wanted to name the dogs Devil Dogs.
Mm-hmm. And I told him, man, ain't no church lady gonna buy a dog named Devil Dog.
Right.
So he said, well, then you name them then. What's the name, though? I said, after some research and thinking, I said, Canis Panther. Canis is the phylum name for any canine. Wolf and coyotes.
Okay.
It's the phylum name. It's the highest scientific name category.
Right.
Canis, and the look of the dog, and the movement of the dog, the size of the dog, reminded me of a panther.
And that's where the name comes from.
That's the name. I named this breed. Me. Not Scorp, not Lucas, not Tim, not JD.
Right.
I did. Me. And Scorp, registered Canis Panthers.
Yeah, he did.
I know he did. So if it wasn't true, why would he do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So,
I'll tell you what the term Devil Dog came from. Earl Jones, the person who taught me to train dogs, at one point was trying to create a dog, and he had already picked a name for it, and it was Devil Dog. And one day in a discussion, or several days in several discussions, my father, who read Earl Jones's Dover, Tobar the Great, and helped to train him, knew this. And so we had discussions all the time. And so that's where that name came from. It didn't come out of Scorp's head.
okay. Where did he get the name Devil Dog from? Was it a military reference?
My father said Devil Dog out of his mouth,
Okay.
telling us about Earl Jones trying to create another dog.
Okay.
And yeah, Scorp didn't come up with that out of his own head. And they were mean, so it's one way you could go that way, but I objected.
Right.
And Lucas believed what I said. Lucas agreed. And this dog was created for the church lady. Wasn't created for the dope dealer. It's created for the church lady.
Mm-hmm.
The greatest test of that was Scorp's mother. They had a dog named G-Money. Lucas called it Jiminy.
Jiminy.
Uh-huh. Lucas was a square. He wasn't that hip. So G-Money was not something he wanted to say. So he called him Jiminy.
That's fair.
Uh-huh.
So, what caused you three gentlemen to conspire to create a dog breed?
Because at the time, we wanted to import dogs. First, we tried buying dogs. Rottweilers was basically the dog that we had our eye on. And when we went to try to get the best Rottweilers we could, usually they were in the hands of white people.
Okay.
And when they realized that we were, first off, when we pull up, we're black men, or young black men. Some people have aversion to giving anything valuable to young black men. Are you aware of that in America?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's feasible, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
We can pretty much say, oh, that sounds kind of like, could be true. And so then Scorp said, well, Scorp had a big family. And there were people that were overseas, military people. And so we tried to import dogs and found out there was a lot of cost involved. And so the discussion came about, well, then let's make a dog. And that's where, in talking to my father, the name Devil Dog came up.
Okay. So, if some people were not selling dogs to you, and if it was difficult to get dogs from other places, how did you guys get the initial stock to start the Canis Panther?
I got stock from Scorp. I got stock from Lucas Lopez, originally.
Where did they get theirs from?
They made them. Scorp and Lucas were the breeders.
Right, but they had to get their dogs that they made from somewhere, right?
You're talking about the original component?
Yes. Sorry.
Oh, okay. There were several different sources. The dog had to be evaluated. Those people's names? No, I don't remember those people's names.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you were able to find people willing to sell to you gentlemen at some point. At least
in order
sometimes.
to create the dog, yeah, they had to be blended. It wasn't one just in somebody's yard that was already a Canis Panther. They had to be created.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Some
good, some were bad. The bad ones we eliminated, or let somebody else have them. Lucas didn't let anybody have anything.
Why is that?
Because he was very loyal to Scorp.
And so he made it so that Scorpio had the final say on what dogs went where.
I made it so Scorp was a real dude, man. You're not going to do anything with his shit that he didn't okay.
Right.
No way. I don't care who you are. Scorp was nobody to play with.
Okay.
You're not going to take something from him. You're not going to misrepresent him.
Right.
And be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just told you, even as far as naming the dog, we argued about it. And he respected me enough, my intelligence, my ability, my forethought, my vision, enough to say, well, then you name him. Because I came to him with a logical argument of why we cannot name these dogs Devil Dog. And he accepted it because he was a very wise man. One of the greatest men I've
if that name could get more traction today, would you have allowed Scorpio, if he was still around, to change the name back to it?
No, he wouldn't. He realized I was right.
Okay.
Why would he be wrong? He wouldn't do something to be wrong.
Well, no, I'm just saying because there's not so many church ladies anymore, you know?
It's a name that probably could be monetized. I understand that. But this ain't about money.
Oh, no. Okay, so for me, the name Devil Dog is actually a little special. So I don't know if you know this. I was in the Marine Corps. And
okay.
in World War I,
yeah,
the Germans didn't like to fight us, and they ended up calling us Devil Dogs. And so that's been a nickname for me for a long time. And so when I found out that Scorpio had that idea, it was special to me, you know? And so I had already had the dogs at the time, but I felt just a little bit more of a connection. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know if the word came from maybe Scorpio had some Marines in the family, or maybe you did, or...
No, it came from Earl Jones.
Right. But I'm just saying...
Earl didn't tell Scorpio that. My father told them that.
Right.
Earl and my father, Earl and Scorpio didn't get along.
Why didn't they get along?
Because Scorpio was a hell of a man. And so was Earl Jones. And sometimes two men that are that great just cannot give in to the other.
That's
It wasn't
fair.
because Scorpio stole anything from him or cheated him, and it wasn't because Earl stole anything from him or cheated him. They were both very honest.
Well, good.
But they didn't. Everybody don't get along.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. But Devil Dog is not a dog I'm going to be associated with.
Right.
Church lady don't want a dog named Devil Dog.
Mm-hmm.
Church lady is my number one concern.
That's a good reason to pick a different name.
That's right. And if you're going to pick a different name, how about let's use some science?
Yeah.
Something that cannot be assailed. Some scientific weight to the breed.
Right.
Therefore, Canis Panther. Not Panther Dog. Canis Panther.
I've noticed some people like to use the word Panther Dog. Where did that come from?
I have no idea. That's laziness.
Yeah.
That's what that is. Laziness. And maybe another attempt to erase history, to erase me, since I'm the one who named the breed. Huh? Ever thought of that?
It's crossing my mind now. I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that's
But I'll
all.
tell you this. No one, not Scorp, not Tim, not the guy from down south, what's his name
Chris
again?
Tucker.
Chris Tucker. No human being has trained more Canis Panthers than me. No one. Since Scorp died, no one has bred more Canis Panthers than my wife. No one.
Do
We
you...
sold dogs to China. We sold dogs to Dubai. We sold dogs to Afghanistan. We have sold dogs to Mexico, to the islands. No one has bred more than her. And no one has trained more than me. No one.
How would you feel if, you heard that there was like an Afghanistan Canis Panther program?
That's fine.
Okay.
Well, I'm not a jealous person.
Right. I just think it would be an interesting thing.
A question I would ask anyone: where did you get your dog? That's what I would ask, because I know. Yeah, I know. And I can only put my hand on the Bible and say that we only breed Canis Panthers to Canis Panthers.
Right.
I don't know what you do. I don't know what JD does. I don't know what Kim does. I don't concern myself with that.
Mm-hmm.
I only govern myself. I do not govern these other people. That's why they're able to be liars and to be believed. But I can't put out all these little fires. Man, how am I have a life if my whole life is consumed with fighting off carpetbaggers?
Right.
No. That ain't what I want to do. Never has been.
Never will be?
I don't
Good.
care. I do not care. That's the truth. All I care about is if a person tries to take something from me. That's all I care about.
Right.
What they do on their own is on them. I would just tell anyone, well, where'd they get their dog? They didn't just find them on the side of the road. Well, maybe they did. And named it Canis Panther and decided to deceive people because they wanted to have some standing. Well, I can't. There's nothing I can do about that. I don't care. To be honest, I don't care. But when they try to take value from me and my work, from my wife and her work, then yes, I have to have a problem with that.
Okay. Do you feel like anybody breeding Canis Panthers today is taking work away from you?
Nope.
Or from Lori?
Sure don't. Because where'd they get their dog from?
From you?
Is it a Canis Panther? That's a question.
So if...
So anybody calls me talking about Canis Panther, they got one. It's a question in my mind. If they didn't come from here, if they don't got my wife's signature on that paperwork, then there's a question. Where'd you get your dog from?
Right.
That's etched in stone. Where'd you get your dog? That's how I make my assessments.
Okay. So if somebody got all their Canis Panthers from you and they were breeding those Canis Panthers just to each other, doing the same thing that you do, that would not bother you?
If they're doing the same thing I do, I guess it wouldn't. I'd be hypocritical if I said it did.
Right. Okay. That's totally fair.
Yep. I've never bred a father to a daughter or a son to a mother. Never. And I've never bred dogs that have the same mother and father to each other. Never.
Do you ever line breed, like cousins to cousins and stuff like that?
Canis Panther is a line-bred dog. There's no doubt about that. It's a rare breed.
Okay. I can see that, for sure.
Yeah. But I just told you what I've never done.
Right.
Never. And ain't gonna do it. See, I could create the Canis Panther again if God forbid there was a plague and all of them died. I have the formula. I know how many this and how many of that. I know what to do, when to do. I could recreate them if I wanted to, if I needed to.
Okay. Would you ever do that to add more lineages so you're not line breeding as much?
I don't know. That's possible, but I've never felt the need to.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Because again, I'm not trying to make them popular.
Right.
I'm not trying to get everybody to have a Canis Panther. That's your boy JD. because he sees money signs.
Right.
Yeah. And I hope you put all of this in your documentary. Don't edit me out.
Well, so we've been talking for 2 hours, and so that would be a 2-hour documentary without even being able to have.
It might just be about me then. Yeah.
Well,
it might just be about me, and if they can hear you asking the questions about these other people and hear my response about these other people, then you have them represented, which would be fair because all of this time you've never had me represented. You've listened to these other people.
Right. Now, how
you disseminated that information?
So what I want to do is I want to take this phone call, and with your blessing, the one from yesterday, edit them to question and answer sections, and then do the same thing with everybody I interview.
Well, that's all we've done is questions and answers. So why would you need to edit?
Because
start the tape from where it began, turn it off where it ended. You
because
don't need to edit it. Because
right.
If you edit it, that means you're trying to convey a different message than what you got. All of it is important.
Yeah, I agree all of it's important, but I don't...
That's right. So what part would you edit out?
Well, right now, there's dead space. This conversation about editing things, I don't think that needs to be in there.
Why not? Why not?
Because people are going to watch the video to learn about the Canis Panther. They're not going to watch it to learn about editing.
What else is it? But all these questions you've asked have been about the Canis Panther, correct?
Correct. But I'm saying...
all the information before you talked to me have been about the Canis Panther from other people, correct?
Correct. But this section right now...
you edit out? Why would you edit any of it?
You and I talking right now, nobody's going to want to see that.
I think they would.
Well, if they want to see it, how about this?
They won't know if you edit it.
Well, how about this? I edit it, I do it the way I planned it, and then I can upload the full phone calls as well.
Sure.
Does that work for both of us?
Sure. Make it a 3-part documentary.
Okay.
Here's 1 hour. Here's another hour. Here's another hour.
Okay.
Yeah. Because everything that you've asked me has been pertinent. And every answer I've given you has been direct.
Yes, it has.
So all of it has meaning. Mm-hmm. All of it has value. If you start editing it, you're going to be working on some other agenda.
Right.
If you want the truth, unvarnished, unedited truth, that's what you're going to do. You're going to give it all.
Now, like I said, when it's done, when it's uploaded, nobody's going to watch it until I send it to you.
So is JD going to get 20 minutes or an hour? Is Tim going to get 20 minutes or an hour? I don't think they can give you an hour.
Well, Tim maybe, because he likes to talk a lot. JD, though, I don't think he could give, 20 minutes, or maybe he can.
He don't know nothing. He hasn't done anything.
Right.
That's why. He doesn't know nothing. He hasn't done anything.
So, would it bother you if he got more than 20 minutes? If the knowledge he had gathered, gave him...
What knowledge? What knowledge has he gathered?
I don't know.
Where did he gather it from?
Oh, I don't know, but I'm just asking if...
What would bother me is if it was a lie.
Okay.
That would bother me. And everything out of his mouth is a lie.
Okay.
Or he has twisted the truth to serve some maniacal reason. Because he doesn't know anything. He has no first-hand knowledge. None. He's never talked to Scorp. None. The only person that I would say has any legitimacy is Tim. Because he's Scorp's brother.
Right. He grew up with him. He was there. He at least saw it.
He saw some of it. Tim had other interests. Tim wasn't a dog man. He didn't become a dog man until Scorp died. I told you yesterday that Scorp funeral, Tim said, I am the new Scorpio.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where his dog career or story began. Other than that, he was a spectator. Dogs take work. Tim was not a worker.
Now, if you want me to put the full phone call up, Tim might see that.
I don't care.
Okay.
I don't change my story according to who's going to see it.
Okay. That's fair. I just,
I created a story without talking to the source.
Right.
That's my problem.
Okay. No, that's fair.
And perpetrated a story without ever doing any work. The hard work of pushing those buttons
Mm-hmm.
to make the phone ring. That's what you didn't do. You did all this other stuff. You believed all this other stuff. You told people all this other stuff. Me. There must have been a reason for that. That means people wasn't really looking for the truth. They were trying to make a lie the truth.
Right.
And that's why I don't want you to edit my conversations.
Okay.
Because everything I'm saying is pertinent.
Right.
Is important. Is valuable. You've all had thousands of words and thousands of hours and years to create this fantasy story where I am either left out or made the bad guy. So what's the harm in giving me these 2 hours?
I don't think there's any harm at all.
Okay, then don't edit me, man.
Okay. Well, no, I just, we talked about trust in the beginning. I wanted full disclosure, so you know.
That's right.
Who might see it, who might not.
When you say trust in the beginning, I have to stop. Because in the beginning, you didn't tell me you were...
I meant the beginning of today.
Huh?
I meant the beginning of today, not the beginning of yesterday.
Okay, well then, this is not the beginning. This
I know.
is part 2.
It is. So, when the documentary's done, I'll finish it up. I'll send you a link so you and Lori can watch it, and then you can tell me if that editing is acceptable, and then I'll do the same thing with Tim. Once that's done, then I'll put these phone calls up. Is that okay with you?
Fine.
Okay.
As long as my story gets told.
It will.
I've had years and thousands of words to either eliminate me from the story or to devalue me from the story.
Okay.
It is only fair. You're interested in fairness and truth, that you don't eliminate not 1 minute, not 1 word of what I've talked to you about. That's what's going to make it valuable, brother. Not minutes and words from people who haven't done anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to make it valuable. That's going to perpetuate the bullshit that's been made up, first of all, by J.D. And you know one thing? I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
If J.D. can convince somebody we can make a lot of money, they may go along with what he says. They just might. But then when you look back, you'll see that J.D. hasn't made a dime for anyone but himself.
Why do you believe that?
Why? Because it's the truth.
Okay. I'm not saying you're wrong. I want your mindset on that.
How much has he made for you?
None.
Okay.
But to be fair, I don't.
Name somebody he's made money for.
I don't know.
Himself.
I don't get into his financial business too much.
So there are people that you know of that he's made money for.
No,
have benefited.
No,
monetarily
I'm
from
saying
their
that.
Association with him.
I'm saying that I don't get involved in his financial
you don't
stuff.
Have to get involved. You can answer this yes or no. Do you know of anyone who has gained monetarily from their association with JD?
I do not know of anybody, no, sir.
And you know a lot of people that he's involved with.
Yes.
You named 4 or 5 of them.
Correct.
And none of them have made a dime from him. But that's his selling speech. But he never comes through. Because he ain't never did nothing. And he don't know nothing. He is not about creating value for anyone other than himself. And he will stick a knife in anybody's back. That's why you don't fuck with him no more. Huh?
Now, full disclosure, he and I still work together.
Oh, yeah?
With the club. And I think I mentioned that a little bit yesterday, but...
And what value has he brought to your world?
Well, like I said in the beginning, there was gathering everybody's information when, under the context, I didn't think I could talk to you. So, now that I know I can talk to you, that relationship has changed. There's not as much need to see that side now that I can stand on this side of the river as well.
But just being a fair-minded person, when you hear all this negativity, at no point did your brain say or your heart say, well, damn, is this guy all bad? Maybe if I, especially if I want to tell the story to anyone, maybe I should at least call this guy.
Right.
Or ask the question, how come Gypsy, the last remaining founder of this breed, how come he's not over here on this board? Who made that decision?
I think we just kind of collectively, we had talked about it, and we didn't want to include you because I think the initial reasoning was the health testing. It wasn't rumors about who you will and will not talk to. It wasn't anything. It was because you did not want to look at the genetics of your own dogs. I'm
looking at the genetics of my dogs, man.
Right.
I'm looking at them every day.
Right, no, and...
The test I have, the eye test. I will not breed a dog that is not healthy, that is not intelligent, that won't protect.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Won't breed them. I don't got to go to a scientific lab to determine those things because I'm a dog man and a trainer.
Right.
So first thing, they got to look the part, they got to act the part. And if they're sickly, I'm not breeding them.
Okay. No, what if there's a health issue that you may not notice until the dog's like 9 or 10 years old?
And what dog lives to 9 or 10?
I think quite a few do.
Okay, then.
But I'm saying...
Mine do.
Right.
So what have I got to be concerned about? If labs live this long and panthers live relatively the same amount of time, what do I need a scientist to tell me about?
Are you okay if I give you one example?
Go ahead, man.
Okay, so now this is another thing I wanted to tell you. So as far as I know, I was the first person to do genetics on a Canis Panther.
Go ahead.
And what I found was that both of the dogs I had carried one gene. So carrying it's not a big deal, right? But if you breed them together, then you could have some problems. But that gene causes kidney stones, and it's the same gene that was...
I've never had a dog with kidney stones, brother.
Right.
Never.
And I'm not saying you haven't. And the thing with genetics is, just because you find the gene, right, say this gene does cause kidney stones, there could be other genes that prevent that from being a problem.
It could also be the water they're drinking, or the food they're eating.
Right. There's all kinds of factors. But on the surface, this is the same gene that was causing fatalities in Dalmatians.
Well, I don't breed Dalmatians.
I know.
I don't got no Dalmatians in the Canis Panther, so how is that relevant?
The reason...
You're using examples that have no relevancy.
Right, but let me tell you where my mindset is. And where other people are thinking. So the Dalmatian and the Doberman have the same gene that causes those kidney stones. For whatever reason, it can be fatal in Dalmatians. Now, I don't know that much about is it fatal in Dobermans. So it could be a totally different situation, but it is the same gene.
You're drawing to a conclusion
Yes, sir.
without the requisite information.
Right.
So you saw this and said, oh boy, this is a possible. And it went from a possible to a probable. That's what happened.
Right.
Yeah.
But for me, it's because I love the breed. You know, I'm concerned.
There's nothing not to love.
Right. And you know that. But when I saw that
So
gene.
who's told you, man, my dog got kidney stones? Dog I got from Rock of Ages Kennel came up with kidney stones. Who's told you that?
Nobody. But.
Nobody.
But.
Zero.
But that doesn't mean it can't happen.
With all of these people talking, with all of this research, with this community of haters, no one, zero, said, man, you know the dog I got from Rock of Ages Kennel had kidney stones.
Right.
So wouldn't that tell you something on the other side of that scale?
Yes. But both pieces of information to me are equal. Just because you've never had kidney stones doesn't mean you won't.
Oh, okay.
It could happen.
Okay.
And so.
A lot of things could happen.
That's true. That's true. You're not wrong.
So everything that could happen, you're assessing it to me, to Rock of Ages Kennel?
No. It was never about, for me, it was never about blaming you. It was never about making you look like the bad guy.
At the table with people who blamed me for things that never occurred because it's possible. So let's make it sound like it's probable.
Right.
Huh.
But.
Yeah, I know I'm right.
But what I'm saying, though, is that because
that's wrong. We can't just gloss over that. That's like propaganda.
So what would you say if we did find somebody that got a dog from you that had kidney stones? What would you say then?
I'd say, what do they eat?
Okay.
Where do you live? What's in the environment? Because I've never, and I just finished telling.
Right.
There's no human being on earth that's been involved with the Canis Panther longer or more volume than me. No one.
Mm-hmm. That is fair. Now, do you expect people who you don't know to believe what you say at face value?
Well, if they get it from people who they believe, of course they'd believe it. But what I would say, if it were me and I was that person, I'd say, well, man, let me call Gypsy.
Okay.
Let me go to the source. Let me just not take the word of these carpetbaggers, these haters. Because at some point it had to be obvious to you that these were haters.
Right.
Because at some point you had to say, well, who's talked to Gypsy? Anybody at this table, anybody in this group talked to him? And when the answer come back, well, no, I was told he won't talk to white people.
Right.
And you just, with that type of propaganda, you say, well, it must be true.
Well, you know, I had gently tried to contact you.
No, you didn't.
Well, I messaged you on Facebook.
One message.
I think there was a couple more than that, but I still should have called you. I agree.
You should have. As soon as you heard my name and you heard the dirt that people were trying to put on it, if you had any fair-mindedness, you would have called me. Something has happened between you and JD that you've decided to call me because you have seen the boogers on his nose. You have smelled the shit that's in his pants. You! Otherwise, you wouldn't have ever called me.
Right.
That's right. You have found out he's a snake in the grass. After all this time, all these words, all these nod and wink.
Mm-hmm.
One day something happened, and you said, this motherfucker ain't right.
Yeah.
And I know. And ain't nobody told I ain't right.
Right.
Tim ain't told you I ain't right.
Right.
And none of these other motherfuckers don't even know me, never had a conversation with me.
Mm-hmm.
So how could they tell you I ain't right?
I guess they couldn't.
But you accepted it. And you disseminated that shit with a wink and a nod until you found out JD had some stank on it that he was trying to put on you. You found out he wasn't right because he tried to do something that you saw was wrong and it affected you or could.
Mm-hmm.
Then you changed your view.
Yeah.
Then you took the steps to push them little numbers that don't take hardly no effort to do. It takes less effort to make a phone call than it does to write a post or a message.
You're right.
I know I'm right. I don't need you to tell me I'm right. I know I'm right.
I know you know. I just, when you make a goof, yeah.
In the future,
Yes.
when you are around a bunch of haters and all they got is something negative to say about somebody, hopefully a light bulb will come on top of your head and say, man, you know what? Nobody's this terrible. Nobody's this racist. Nobody's this greedy. Maybe I ought to call this guy.
In the future, I will.
I hope so. Because you will have done a lot less harm to other people if you do. So when this documentary comes out, I want to hear the problem that you and JD had that's encouraged you to call me.
Okay.
I want to hear about it.
Okay.
I don't want JD to be equal to me because he ain't.
Right.
He's not equal to anyone in this game. He's a carpetbagger, man. Period. Tim ain't a carpetbagger. JD is. Tim might have got influenced because of some lie, some dream that JD gave to him. But at some point, Tim even said, man, JD ain't right. He's trying to exploit me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For his own gain. And the guy, Chris Tucker, the only reason JD talked to him is because Chris Tucker don't like Gypsy. Because you can't call here and intimidate me, talk tough to me.
Right.
You can't do it. You can't call here with more knowledge than I have about my shit. You can't do it.
Right.
And Chris Tucker's one of them kind of people. But at some point, he realized JD was full of shit. Even him. And I have no respect for him, Chris Tucker. I still have some respect for Tim because I know him. I have no respect for Chris Tucker and absolutely none for JD because they ain't never did nothing. They don't know nothing.
Right.
Shit.
You're quite passionate in your views.
Huh?
I said you're quite passionate.
Yeah, because right is right.
Yeah.
Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. They haven't done nothing. They don't know nothing. They made up a story, and then they made up some scientific way to devalue something that they're trying to sell. How crazy was that? I told them, how stupid are you? If you deny me, you deny yourself when it comes to this breed of dog. How you gonna deny me and devalue my dogs, my work, but that's who you fell in love with. That's who you came and got dogs from. That's who you wanted to get a dog from. Because none of these people, Chris Tucker or JD, had never known anything about a Canis Panther until they saw my dog.
Right. Do you know where either of them heard of the breed?
No. Don't care. Might have heard of it on the internet. Somebody might have said, man, I just saw a dog look so fucking good, and look at this fucking dog work. And they Googled it and found it and said, oh my God, I gotta have some of that.
Yeah.
And then somebody said, I could take it over. But this old fucking guy won't get out of the way. He won't let me be the middleman, so I'm gonna devalue. So people won't go to him. They'll come to me. Forgetting that they got theirs from me. Forgetting that the moment they fell in love with the Canis Panther, it was in my hand. It wasn't in anybody else's hand. Because no one had published Canis Panther before me. No one. Not Score. Not anybody. I brought the Canis Panther to the light, to the public.
Right. And you take a lot of pride in that, don't you?
Yeah. Shouldn't I?
No, you absolutely should. Just, you know, this isn't the Gypsy I was told existed, you know?
Yeah, I know.
Sorry about that. Sorry for believing in it, you know.
I don't blame you for believing it because you had nothing to counterbalance it.
Right.
But once you realize that these people, where'd you get your dog? And when it came back to Gypsy, then how could all of what you've been saying is correct if y'all still want to have them and promote them? They didn't get their dog from Russia or Germany. They got them from me.
Right.
So how you going to discredit them when it's the dog you want to make popular? And I told him, how stupid are you with this genetic bullshit? You're going to devalue the same dogs you have. That's right.
Now, let me ask you this. Since I was the first person, to my knowledge, to test, and I pushed myself, I was pushing people to test.
Information. You fed this to JD.
If he...
He's the first one to test. I've heard him say that.
He said he's the first one to test?
That's right.
I'd like to see the
dates. He ain't gonna give you no credit. He's not that kind of guy. He's a carpetbagger. You need to look up the history of carpetbagging. I
will.
Yeah.
I love history as it is. It's part of why I wanted to make this documentary, because it's history, you know. But I will look into that for sure.
Yeah.
But, so, how would you feel if he was getting that idea from me that health testing was important, and then he used that to make you look bad? Because my intention was never to make you look bad.
He would use anything he could find to make me look bad, and if he couldn't find it, he would make it up.
Okay. No, that was an if. I don't know if that's what he did.
Because to make
I'm
me
speculating.
Look bad makes him look like he's not bad.
Right.
If he gave you a clear picture of himself, then you wouldn't fuck with him.
Right.
The same way you're not going to fuck with him in the future. The same way you used to fuck with him 100%, now you're down to 30%. Pretty soon you'll be down to 0%. The more you know about him, the less you're going to respect him. Unless you want to be him.
No.
All right.
I'm on my own journey.
Okay, then. So I'm right. Nothing I've said can be contested. Nothing that I've said about him even can be disputed.
Now,
you know it from your own interaction with him.
Right.
Go ahead.
Now, let me ask you this. How would you feel, or do you want me to tell him how you feel, and then
He knows how I feel. I've said it to him.
Okay.
Man, I don't play. I do not play.
Okay.
I said it to him.
Right. Now,
what's Abby's husband's name?
Andy Holmes. Okay.
When you talk to Andy, ask Andy, did you remember when you first met Gypsy? And what was that conversation like? And it's going to be exactly what I told you. And then you're going to say, Andy, how come you don't fuck with JD no more? And then it's going to be exactly what I've told you. He has every bit historical value that JD does. He was driving. No, JD was driving when they pulled into my driveway. And he was sitting. And the first thing I said to him, oh, you're the tough guy. Talk tough to my wife. And I gave him a chance to explain himself. He did to a degree enough, apologetically, that I didn't smack him upside his fucking dumbass head. Because you're not going to disrespect my wife and drive up in my driveway and leave the same way you came.
Right.
And you could put that in your documentary.
I will.
And that's right. So he bit the bullet. He was apologetic as he could be. And he came to me with his middleman idea.
Do you think the middleman idea could have been a way to make amends with you, since he felt like he offended you, or do you think...
If that was something that I wanted...
So do you think...
If that was something that I wanted or needed, and I told him, well, we'll talk about it.
Did you talk about it?
Not after that. Not after he started disseminating bullshit. No. Because, again, I'm going to tell you, since the very beginning, there's been people around that table that have heard what he said and have let me know about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot of information.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to reach out to Andy Holmes and see if I can get his input.
Good. Andy is good people. And his wife is good people.
So, do you know for sure that Andy doesn't mess with JD anymore?
I don't think he does.
Okay. I haven't seen Andy Holmes around for a while, but I think his wife was still involved, but I'm not entirely sure. They were having issues and they didn't talk about it, and I wanted to be nosy, but at the same time, it's like, sometimes you can't really mess with people while they're in the middle of something important,
Well, when people find out you're a vampire, they usually try to disassociate themselves from you.
Yeah.
A vampire is a creature that cannot live other than sucking the blood from other people. Cannot create life on its own, has to steal life. And that's JD. Incredibly bad person.
Damn. I don't think anybody's laid it out so blunt before. Actually, maybe one other person has. You want to hear a little story?
Go ahead.
So, I'm single now, but I had a girlfriend, and we were together for 2 years, and she does Doberman outcrosses. She always has. That's been her thing, because the Dobermans, like you said, the ATCs just kind of ruined them.
Yep.
So, she was helping try to rebuild the Doberman into something useful.
Uh-huh.
She was trying to create value. And her and JD did not get along from the beginning. I mean, they were amicable, but then here towards the end, because she ended up with a dog from me, and then she had that accident litter I told you about, and she labeled them as Canis Panther Doberman mixes.
Okay.
And JD got mad that they were not listed appropriately, because we try to make sure that if it's a Doberman or if it's a Panther mix, we call it a Panther mix.
Okay.
And she called it a Panther mix, but he got mad because she also didn't include that it has Cane Corso ancestry and Dogo ancestry from me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so they got into a huge fight, and they had a couple of big fights and arguments from before then, and because she has felt the way you do, and the way that I've had my suspicions is about this whole big, like, basically, she calls it JD's Fun House, where everybody that comes in, because
You gotta serve him.
right, and so when there's new people, so originally, in this version of the CPCA, the Canis Panther Club of America, it was JD, myself, Laura Bacchus. You may not know her. She has a Klaus puppy as well. And I think Brett or Lou.
Klaus is a bad boy, too. He's a bad boy.
I like him. And so we were the only independent people. Everybody else that has joined was brought on by JD.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I don't know, it didn't bother me at the beginning, because it's like, well, you know, if JD's...
He was a vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, at the beginning I thought, you know, he's creating value, because he's bringing in people with their various experiences and stuff, but then recently he made some choices about bringing people on that was, like, questionable, and then he decided to, like, push, like, really hard, and he even attacked me. In fact, I can send you a screenshot if you want. He made a post trying to, basically...
Discredit you?
No, well, kind of. Like, that's what it was.
You?
It was to make me look bad, but the idea was to suspend me because I knew Kristen had the litter and I didn't tell them.
Oh,
Which,
boy.
I mean, one, I work 80 hours a week. Like, it's not my business. I'm not totally involved. I knew she had the litter. I didn't.
Him.
Yeah.
It all had to serve them. I guess my original question when all these groups were being formed was, how come we don't got Gypsy on this group? Somebody should have asked that question. How come Gypsy ain't here? Scorpion's dead. Lucas is dead. Gypsy's the only one alive. He ain't never said nothing bad about us. So why ain't he here?
Well, let me ask you this now.
Crossed your mind? That never crossed your mind? Why ain't Gypsy here?
Right. I did always wonder how you felt about that. So let me ask you this. How would you feel about joining the Canis Panther Club of America or creating your own?
I don't got time to create my own. And as far as joining it, sure. Give me an invitation. I want to see the invitation out in the open.
Okay.
I want it to be real. And then I'll consider it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do you want me to do this before the documentary so then I can...
I don't care when you do it.
Okay.
But if you want to know something, if you want to bring value, then why wait?
Right. Okay.
Because
That's
I'm
a good
going
point.
to say the exact same things I say now there. That's how I can keep it all straight, because I don't lie. I ain't got to lie. I'm proud of my work.
Okay.
And I have no fear of anyone when it comes to dogs. And absolutely no fear when it comes to my dog.
Right.
When it comes to the Canis Panther. None. I've done more for the breed than anyone else. I named it. I trained it. I registered it. No one else had done that before me. That gives me preeminence. Yeah. There's nothing I need to be afraid of. I think JD is the one need to be afraid. That's why he's never allowed any of you to reach out to me. That's why he's put it in your head it would be a futile mission. That Gypsy won't talk to you.
So if I put it out there in the club and everybody wants to bring you on and he doesn't, I'm just trying to play the scenario in my head. I wonder how that would go. What would you think?
I already think it would wake you guys up. It would make you wake up.
Right.
Yeah, it would make that group wake up. They would look at him and say, well, why? What are you afraid of?
Okay.
Yeah, because he don't know nothing. That's what he's afraid of. He ain't never did nothing.
Okay. I'm not going to ask today. Maybe tomorrow. Definitely this week, because I want to make sure that. Because he might kick me out if I propose it. I don't know.
He might.
I honestly I don't think he would, but I'm not sure.
He'll kick you out now when he know you've talked to me for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Ah.
He'll just be like, yeah, so I already know what you're going to say. Bye.
Yeah, he may kick you out now.
That's a possibility.
I've talked to Gypsy for 4 hours. He answered every question, or at least 99% of them.
Yeah.
And the ones he didn't answer, he gave me a reason why he wouldn't answer them. That's right.
Now, if he doesn't kick me out for all that, because Kristen, the girl I was just telling you about, she's convinced that he's targeting me now. Like, he's just waiting to attack me, and it does kind of feel like that. But if he doesn't kick me out over inviting you...
more of your blood, he is going to kick you out.
Yeah.
That's right. Vampires don't keep people around. They can't suck blood out, their life blood out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I post these interviews, if he watches them, he'll probably definitely go for kicking me out there.
Especially if you don't edit me. Put 4 parts. Here's the first part. Here's the first half hour of my conversation with Gypsy. Tomorrow I'll have the second. You want to get your crowd hungry to hear more? Then parcel it out. Don't edit it. Parcel it out. Here's an unedited version of my conversation with Gypsy.
Well, honestly, I was thinking about putting both of them together. Unedited, just stitch both phone calls together. It's one block. It's 4 hours long or whatever.
6 hours. That's going to be 6 hours. I'm talking to you today for 4. 3 or 4. So half hour at a time. They'll be back the next day. Here's the second part of it.
Okay.
And then maybe you'll have 5 parts.
Okay. If that's how you want it, I can do it that way.
I think that's the best way. Because all of this time, everyone else has had 100% of the time.
Right.
That's right. We're going to be fair. If you're interested in reality and truth and justice in the American way, you're going to publish it unedited and not be afraid.
I'm not
You
afraid.
need to be afraid of JD. JD don't know shit, man. JD ain't never did nothing. He don't know nothing, and he's never done anything. I hope that when I hear it, I hear what I'm saying to you.
You will.
Don't leave that out because you're scared of he's not going to like it. Because ain't nobody been scared all this time.
Right.
The Gypsy ain't going to like this. Nobody even considered that. The dogs they love came from me.
Right.
The dogs they fell in love with were in my hands when they first encountered the breed. But nobody's wanted to talk to me. It's because JD has poisoned all of your minds. Man, please. You can only drink from that poisoned cup long enough until you get sick.
Right.
And then you say, oh, I don't want to drink that no more. I don't want to drink no more JD's potion. And then he has this big power fear thing going. Well, if you don't drink from the cup, I'm going to exclude you. And then I'm going to vilify you. But he can't vilify you, brother, if you publish my conversation with you.
Right.
Cannot.
Now, what if he says that you're lying about everything?
Who?
Okay.
What's his counter argument? Because all you got to do is say, well, he knew Scorp for all these years. Did you? How long did you know?
Right.
He's worked with Scorp all of these years, with all these dogs. How many did you work with Scorp on? And it's going to be the same answer. None.
Right.
None. 0. He's never done anything.
there for sure. There's this whole... So the documentaries...
I've said it enough times.
Yes, yes, you have.
That's right. He cannot say the same about me. He can't say, well, Gypsy don't know about no Canis Panthers.
Right.
He can't say Gypsy ain't trained no Canis Panthers. He can't say, when I first came in contact with the Canis Panther, and it blew my mind that it wasn't Gypsy who put it there for me to see. He cannot say that.
Right.
Yeah. He can't say that Bill Ellinger came here and worked with me. I still talk to Bill. Bill just got a Master Dog Trainer certification from the Personal Protection Dog Association. You know who that is?
I've heard of them, but I don't know much about them.
It's me.
Oh, okay. I was like, why is that familiar? You know, yeah, I knew that you had your own dog training thing.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. When you ask those questions and you come up with the zero, then that's when the light's gonna come on.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I talked to Chris Tucker. Well, what's his background? What does he know? How many Panthers has he had? How many has he bred? How many has he trained? Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, I do have to go now.
Okay.
Are you, if I get more questions, are you okay doing a third phone call this weekend?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
And then I'll send you.
But this is what I want to see. This will determine that.
Okay.
This is what's going to let me know if you're for real or not.
Okay.
Before you do if you want people to watch your documentary, publish the first half hour of our conversation, and then publish the next half hour. And
Okay.
then I will hear it. I'll see it. Well, he did do it. He did publish that conversation. And then that will let me know that you are on the up and up.
Okay.
See, I'm not afraid of you either.
Right. And you shouldn't be. I'm not here to hurt you.
Whether I should be or not. Whether you think I should be or not, I am not.
I don't want...
You and no one else can match my story.
Right.
You and no one else can match my work.
Right.
No one. Nobody. Nobody. Tim ain't trained more Canis Panthers than I have. He ain't bred more than came from Rocker Bage's kennel. He hasn't. No one has. So if you want me to continue with you, then I need to hear some of this conversation. Then if this conversation is going to help you sell your documentary, believe that, brother.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't wait till you do your whole documentary and put my words up against JD's words. Everyone's already heard his words.
Right.
If you wanted to catch fire, you publish my conversations with you. Therefore, they will know something different, but I know you're on the up and up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Can't wait.
I can't either. This might really disrupt the dog world for a while. You know that, right?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Good to shake things up once in a while.
It's already been disrupted because everybody's been fed lies.
Mm-hmm.
And so they regurgitate those same lies. It's already been disrupted.
Yeah.
But the facts are the facts. JD ain't trained nothing. He don't know nothing. He ain't never even had.
Yeah.
Chris Tucker don't know nothing. Ain't never did nothing. He ain't never had a conversation with Storm.
Do you think I should interview Chris Tucker?
I don't see any value in it. You know it ain't no value in it.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to see what your thoughts are.
Yeah. All you come up with is, I hate you. Can't stand him.
Well, if it makes you feel better, Tim doesn't like him either.
Oh, boy. All right, brother.
All right. right.
Waiting to hear some of this conversation.
You will. I can't promise you when, because, you know, like I said, I work 80 hours a week, but you will hear it.
All right. And don't forget, there are people sitting around JD that's going to tell me they've been ever since he started.
Okay.
Believe that. People that you wouldn't even suspect.
Like JD.
Yeah.
Oh.
The big question involved is, why isn't Gypsy on this board? Who decided he couldn't be here?
Well, like I said, I think we just kind of...
Me.
Right.
Me.
Well,
Not me.
I'll put the question out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll be like, you know what? Gypsy said he'd like to join the CPCA and he wants to be involved. This is his breed, you know. He's got the history, he's got the guidance, and I'll let you know what they say, and I'll put it in the documentary. I think that's going to be an interesting thing to see.
These hours that I've talked to you will be the most enlightening thing that any of them have ever heard about this breed.
I hope so.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
I hope you're right.
They're going to thank you for it. He won't, but they will. All those people who he's put a knife in their back, all these people who are sitting there afraid to say anything other than what he says, they're going to be so glad that you did. And they're going to be glad that they were able to hear Gypsy from Gypsy instead of hearing Gypsy from JD.
Right.
Yeah.
And if they vote to have you in there, then you're in there and you can speak for yourself, too. I think that'll be really neat as well.
I got no problem with speaking for myself.
Okay. I look forward to it. I hope they vote to let you in. In fact, I'm not sure why they would vote against it.
I don't either.
Unless it's just, you know, kind of blindness,
Unless
but...
they feel bad about how bad they've spoken my name.
Yeah.
Yeah. That could be a motivating factor. Damn, I've put so much shit on this man's name. I don't know if I could stand to sit there and be proven wrong. People don't like to be wrong.
No, they don't, and that, you know, it's hard. Even for me, you know, sometimes I'm like, well, shit, you know, that's tough to admit. Like, admitting about the honesty here in the beginning, I was a little bit ashamed. You know, I should have been more direct with you.
I want you to put that.
I will.
Gypsy took me to task.
Chewed my ass, and I
tell him that I was recording him, but when he realized I was, he still talked to me.
Yes.
And he didn't call me a motherfucker. He didn't tell me to go to hell. He didn't call me a carpetbagger.
I appreciate that, you know, and I do feel bad about that, you know, and I think posting that will...
You should, but you should feel good about the fact that I've overlooked it and continued to talk to you for some reason.
For some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe it was divine intervention.
Everything is.
That's a good point.
Everything is.
It is.
And I'm not necessarily hungry to be part of anybody's group. I've never found it necessary. But since it's come up, since I've decided to talk to you this way, this long, I think it's only fair. It still won't amount to all of the things in time that bad things have been said about me without any proof, without any reason.
I'm hoping that time will heal that.
Well, it already has, I guess. I'm sitting here talking to you.
That's true.
Even though you did deceive me in the beginning, but you didn't make an enemy. I'm going to see if you're going to be a friend.
I hope that I can live up to that.
Me too, brother.
That gives me hope.
Okay. I'll be looking to hear the first half hour of this conversation.
You will?
And then hopefully the next half hour and the next and the next. And I'm telling you, you're going to have plenty of views. There'll be a lot of reaction just off of our conversation.
I guess we'll see.
Uh-huh. Okay, brother. Take
Okay.
care. Be careful.
Yes, sir. You do the same. You have a good evening,
All right.
okay?